Okay, surprise, surprise! This isn't Cyan. Okay, surprise, surprise! This isn't Cyan. Except I'm 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 okay, surprise. There we go. Sorry about that. We gotta mute that. Okay. So let's look at that on the other computer. Just getting set up here. And then see if I can get the comments working so that I can see this in here. So let's set up OVR drop. Let's try this and see if it's working. Woohoo! Which controller do I got? Which controller? Yeah! Haha! Okay, we've got it. Now we just wait for Squid to send out a link. All right, let's test the audio. Okay, I can hear myself good. Yep, sounds good. Okay, we're just gonna go ahead and mute that. Then let's go post this link. Let's find the stream channels. Cyan, you already set up the title and everything. Good, because like I can do that. Ah, there's Squid with the link. All right. All right, we're gonna launch that. See if this works right. So we're gonna have to close VRChat and then let the link launch. And most important part of the stream, find the Diet Coke.
Yo.
All right. We're set.
Yo.
Yo.
Ugh. Oh look, everyone's being a link.
I'm doing this on purpose today because Cyan's out, so I get to be Respawn Girl.
I see.
I'm also I'm hosting a stream, so I'm the substitute teacher.
Nice.
Actually, I should go post this link in the events.
Yes, Respawn Girl. Good to see you.
Alright, let's real feedback event. There we go. Okay. That's posted. Set the voices down a little bit.
Should I get in VR for this? I don't know. I feel like I should be in desktop so I can put things down and look at the form.
I have a hard time so it's hard enough in VR to figure out like who's talking to you. And desktop is impossible. Lack of peripheral vision. Igbar, what up? How's it going?
Hey, what's up?
I saw you online yesterday, but I couldn't join you. Your eyes.
Oh yeah, I was with some pals.
Ah, cool. Are they rotating? Is your blink
No,
rotate?
they.
Oh no, they just do it off center.
Yeah. It's a squish.
Lovely. You went a little heavy on that eyeliner there, honey.
I just really love eyeliner.
Oh, you love eyeliner so much that you just put
Come on.
all of it in your head.
Come on.
I just had to get it in there real deep.
Yep. Never went out that way.
All right. Yeah. So funny thing.
Cute.
So I'm not sure how many other people are gonna be coming in here because I check usually around 2 hours beforehand to see who's still gonna show up, and 4 people haven't responded yet still. So.
Okay.
Peppy hands.
What was your total count? You out of 20 or?
No.
Actually, let me just pull it up real quick. The Discord.
Hey, Lakuza, I see you. So Splinks.
Yeah, so I think I did out links to 10 people.
I don't know how to make this dark mode. It's annoying.
Alright, cool. I'm going to go and grab a glass of water real quick, and then we'll probably get started.
Alright.
Get hydrated. Big nice.
Yeah.
Wow. I got a Smirnoff Ice. Big nice.
Not the most hydrating, but okay.
Nah. Gotta crack open the cold one, you know. With the boys.
Yeah.
I'm waiting for later to begin.
I think after last night I had enough. I'm good. I'm good for like 3 weeks.
I drink 3 bottles of coconut rum by myself, so.
After drinking my bottle and passing out, I think I'm good as well.
No,
You passed out
more
last night.
tonight.
Oh no! So at one point, Fax was just floating in the air asleep, and we would all just come up and like pet the sleeping bunny.
Oh wait.
Yeah. Actually, I should find that and clip it for you. And then
I'm
like,
actually surprised there's no pictures out yet.
oh yeah, and then and then you kind of like shifted a little bit, like oh he's moving. No, he's just getting comfy. Okay.
Gotta be comfy, of course. Hello.
You weren't the only
Very
one.
important,
Mimi did too. She took a little nap.
I'm gonna change the status. I mean, I'll keep it green for now.
Skate you dead on the floor? Wow.
She's not satisfied with just being a small avatar. She also has to crouch.
I think it's like 6 in the morning for her right now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I can join her being a chibi, so I can stomp on her properly.
Australia? No, I wouldn't go
Yeah,
Australia.
she's Australian, yeah. Wow.
Oh, okay.
Okay, cool. So I think we'll get started
Hey,
here.
he's
This
CyanLaser's on a plane.
massive group.
Wow.
Wow.
So yeah, welcome to the World Feedback event. I have a few announcements before we get started here. The world is ending. No. This event, as some of you knew, because I DM'd people right before that there's going to be some announcements. This is going to probably be the last World Feedback event. And from this point on, we're going to be planning out a new event to replace this one, but further World Feedback events will now be just open round tables to discuss the community meetups and this future meetup and what you guys want to see from these 2 events. So then that way we can kind of better accommodate them for you. Just because Fiona was there, we had a really nice discussion last night at the St. Patrick's, at the Pug thing, where a lot of very, productive things were thought of and talked about and input was given. And it's really kind of shaping what's going on with this event not being a thing anymore, because let's be honest, kind of sucks.
Sitting there real deep.
St. Patrick.
Pepe hands.
Yeah, no, the whole idea of this event was to try and emulate what the old developer meetups used to do for those that were there when like RPL used to host them. and the group size we have now would have been considered a large group size for those meetups, and they were very productive and just very developer focused. But that obviously doesn't scale well, and so it's very difficult to advertise the event to get new people in here, because once we hit having to say 2/3 of the people who sign up can't get in, then once say those people won't sign up, will sign up ever again, and then that leads to a bad look on the event, and then it's kind of hard to get people to come back and just kind of make it a productive event overall. So we're just kind of killing it before we run into those problems. And yeah. And so this new event we're kind of planning, we want to kind of make it more open, still very developer centric. We're still definitely planning things, but one of the ideas that I think you guys might think is kind of cool is the idea of, say, kind of like bi-weekly TED Talks, almost, like if any of you have ever attended Endgame. Something like that, but very Unity and developer centric. Maybe a lot of productive discussion could happen just between whoever's on stage and whoever's in the audience, and places for people to kind of break away and do independent discussion. Just more of an overall networking event, which I think would be definitely much more beneficial than trying to force people to network, which is kind of what this event is. And so, yeah, definitely you'll be hearing more about that in the coming weeks, and we'll definitely talk about it when we do the next quote-unquote World Feedback, where we do 0 World Feedback and talk about the World Feedback event.
World Feedback.
Yeah, World Feedback. I'll ask Gunter to rename the channel temporarily.
One more layer of meta.
Yeah. But yeah, no. So with that said, is there any World Feedback that anyone would like to give right now about those plans?
I like it.
Big nice.
Cool. Who said I like it?
That was me.
This guy.
Shalom. Thank
This
you.
guy.
Yeah, so one thing that I was just thinking about after talking about yesterday, which is like one of the problems with the scaling and the big, groups of people and like people who are there just because they want to like hang out and aren't necessarily like part of the community. We're allowed to use social pressure. You know what I mean? Like, you and Cyan are very nice. And you're like, probably not that willing to be like, hey, can we like have optimized avatars that aren't giant, and like, maybe if you're just here to like look, you could like, we'll publish what worlds we went to, and you could like follow those links or something. I don't know, like, we can do that.
Be a big
and I think
this is where we had a conversation yesterday.
That won't be a thing, just because it's supposed to be very open. If obviously if an avatar is way out of hand, that can be taken on case by case.
Yeah, I mean, like the safety settings do help with that a lot, but yeah, just kind of.
So there was where we had the conversation yesterday. It was mainly around with AU and whatnot, but related to how the Owlbots worked in the pug. If something like that would actually be finished up and be allowed to use, or sponsored by VRChat, then that'd be a cool thing.
Yeah, no.
Then the bots could actually just follow us around. The bots could actually just follow one of us around.
I don't think we'll ever be sponsored by VRChat, honestly. I've been running Virtual like the news for 2 years, almost 2 years, and they never did anything for me. They never even donated to me on Patreon, so I wouldn't expect that.
Well, it's more of just going up and asking if the bot would be able to like be used at like a special event, but if we had something like that,
well.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, they could do it. I don't know if it's a priority for them, but yeah, that would be great, because it would do all those functions without actually like having to be a bitch.
Yeah, no. I switched to my old like spooky ghost avatar in the middle of the pug yesterday, and it is medium performance thanks to some dynamic bones in the tail, and immediately warned by the Owlbot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So just things like that I think will help.
So the bot can actually follow you to any instance. So if you jump to a different instance, the bot will follow you to that instance.
That would be so
the-
awesome, and doesn't seem to be
and it
that
does-
difficult because they already have most of that built in. Right?
Yeah, and
The
it doesn't
bot is
matter if
user
you're in a
already.
private instance or not. The bot will still follow you. It doesn't need an invite request or anything.
I have a question. Is it possible to make a bot that checks every user's avatar and votes kick them if they're not optimized?
That's up to you, but
Yeah.
I mean, the Owlbot, I don't think it actually would kick people, but it would warn you at least.
Yeah, it would
I
just
don't know
warn
how
you.
much it did, but just that is useful because like it makes people aware, and like they can choose to ignore it, but then at least like people are like, oh yeah, we've got 70 people here, maybe I shouldn't have on my, flowy skirt.
yeah, because we were 40 people in the pug yesterday, and I was running completely fine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like there's no lag. Of course, the frames were lower, but there's no lag or anything because no one were using dynamic bones at all, and everyone had a green avatar basically.
Mm-hmm.
No pun intended, but.
Yeah, everyone had literally green. Nobody showed up as the excellence symbol for St. Patrick's Day. I'm amazed. That would have been a good costume.
I wish they would fix dynamic bones, but apparently the guy that made it is now having a holiday in Hawaii for undetermined length.
With all of his VRChat money.
Do you know where in Hawaii? Because I could find him.
Are you in Hawaii, True?
Force them to fix it, exactly.
You! I heard you!
Lock on the window, please fix, man.
Alright, so yeah, let's actually get started here because we've got some people that we need to kind of accommodate for time.
Okay, Squid, we're not going to show Frank, by the way. Frank isn't. Yeah, so the world that I think I put it in the sheet. Like, yeah, we were going to show it. It's not ready. I broke something.
Fiona broke it.
Yeah. I broke it and Cyan can't fix it. He's on a plane.
I was looking through the sheet looking for somebody named Frank, and then I realized what you meant.
No, I tried to fix all the audio sources, and I think I don't know, I broke some. So it's not ready. So take us off the list.
So, first thing is, where are you on here? Spooky Ghost Boo. This form is very squished and hard to. 1 second. Okay, there we go. Yes, no, Spooky Ghost, but do you want to get into the center and just kind of describe what it is you with?
Okay, so the thing is with this world, I built it all out, and then I decided I didn't like how it looked, and I started from scratch. So it's kind of in the very beginning stages of where it needs to be, but there's just some weird things that I need to ask about, things I don't really know about, like animations, and there's some other things that I want to do that I don't really know how to go about. So I figured once we get in there, maybe I just kind of take you around and then be like, this is what I'm trying to do. How do I do that? And hopefully you guys can push me in the right direction. Also, just fair warning, none of the lights are baked, so we might be a little laggy.
Are the shadows on though?
I think so.
Oh, oof. Big nice.
Fiona,
Yeah.
are you the new Cyan?
I am. Look at this. Look at this.
Wow. There's a problem with that though.
What?
It will not work.
Why?
It will not work in the world.
Oh,
because we need to look at you.
Hey, we're
that shouldn't be because my bounding box
The
is big.
portal has spawned.
No,
Let's go.
No, we Fiona, we actually need to look at you to be able to see it. I turned around when you activated it, and I didn't see it.
Oh shoot! I don't know what I did differently about that.
Oh, and there's no jumping.
So Faxanor, how does science work then? What did he do? What did he do differently?
So the reason why it doesn't work is because when I turn around, you're not rendered from me, so you don't play any animation.
So this is like the starting.
Do you have avatar on
trick,
show
though.
avatar?
Nice. Are you using an acid?
Oh, no. How does science work then?
Oh no.
There's a trick that makes you render and or at least calculate even when you're not in somebody's view.
Yeah.
Although it's not recommended because, you know, it puts stress onto stuff for no reason, sort of.
So if I do like that one, you can still see it, but you don't have to look at me.
Do not touch. Wow.
Okay, is it the bounding box? Because I thought I'd done that.
No, it's not a bounding box. It's because when I turn around, whatever's behind me is not rendered. So whenever you do an animation or emote, that's not going to play for me because it's your character is not rendered, so it doesn't tell me to update your character.
Well, let's go watch what's going on over here.
To make it more realistic, all the pictures I've been looking at, it's the aquarium. When you look in the aquarium, it like gets darker and darker the further you go back. And I'm wondering if anyone knows any ways to like get that effect possibly.
Yeah, there's some shaders for that.
Yeah.
For
you
sure.
could use silence water shader and turn it 90 degrees or something.
You can do that either with a projection. If you get a projector box inside this entire area, it only have it affect the default layers. If you have a distance fade or some type of fade off, it will actually be clearer the closer you are, but from a distance, it will actually try to make a rim light around everything, and it kind of gives the illusion of a gradient. You can also be using...
Would that affect other objects in the world? So, like, I want it...
You can have it, as long as it's on whatever layer you choose the projector to be on, it will be under the effect of that projector. So, say you have stuff that's going on in this tube and you want to go in it, as long as you don't have the projector set to player and player local or mirror reflection, it won't affect anyone that goes in that tube. Now, it may affect objects that you carry through the tube if they're set to the default or like a pickup, but if you set a very special layer just for this aquarium alone, say reserve layer 2, and you have all these objects, all these walls, it will be under the effect of that projector. And you
so
can go
for that to work, I'd have
way.
to separate. So like this wall is the same game object that's on the wall over here. So would I have to separate those two objects?
You don't have to if you use the proper shader because of how a projector works. It actually only controls what's inside the bounds of the projector itself. And from there, you can actually modify it. But you can also mix with how, I think, was it Suna that mentioned a shader? You can also add like a distance shader that has like a fog effect.
Yeah, a screen space shader.
And
I have some of those, and they're very nice. Like even if you go
squeeze.
underwater, you can like have like, so like when you're above water and you dip down, you can like, so it can be a different like viewing range. That's how some maps do it. I've seen at least. That's probably
Silence
super helpful.
water shader, for example, has a depth effect on distance effect, so you could probably just leverage that if you really want.
That might be the most easy to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
So another thing is, I have a water shader up there which you can't see anymore, and it looked really good until I deleted the directional light, and I can't figure out how to make it look good anymore.
Some shaders need a light in the scene to work, like even if they're like super low, like
or
strength.
reflection probe.
Yeah.
Why wouldn't the point lights that are in here work though?
And you might need some kind of background because if it's trying to render on black, it might not.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so because my skybox is black. That's...
A useful tip about Unity: don't ever set anything to 100% black because your shadows will fuck up, your light will fuck up, and you can't fucking light it anymore.
I mean, you can also go into the lighting settings and not use the skybox as ambient light, and set custom gradient for the ambient light. You can pick like 3 colors you want the ambient light to be.
That's right.
That helps as well.
Okay, I'm gonna look into those fog shaders. That was kind of like the biggest thing because I had no idea how to go about doing that.
Yeah.
I also have another question down here.
Yeah.
Ooh, we got all sorts of aquarium down in here.
Oh,
yeah. Okay, so something's happening with my lighting, and I this happens all the time when I build. So if you look, it's kind of hard to tell when I'm in VR and not in Unity, but if you look at this wall, it's being lit differently than this object here, and you can actually see the cut between the two different objects right there.
Oh yeah.
And I don't understand why like this wall is getting affected by those blue lights more, and then this game object is getting affected by the orange lights that are in here.
Is it static?
Yeah, number one,
Yeah, they're all
did you do generate light map UVs on the model?
Yeah.
Wow, you look
Okay.
funky all of a sudden.
Do I? Light probes?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another
real-time light.
Is it
Real-time lights. Okay.
Yeah, who knows? Like this was just the she shader. Who knows what version?
Also,
Yeah, I've got some colors.
make sure to check the leaves. They might be casting shadows onto the wall themselves, and it
Oh
might
yeah.
may break stuff.
True.
Another thing that you can try to do.
Two objects.
Yeah, you can see it, and also between the ceiling, you can see the orange light on the ceiling versus the wall. Those are two different objects too right now.
I mean,
And
the
Unity
first thing
is
to
just
do
not
is
really
make it one
any
object,
Quick
right?
question.
good.
How many lights do you
lighting
have
the same.
to affect each and every mesh? Because the default is set to 3. You might actually have to raise it.
Oh,
just
interesting.
To have more lights interact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that could be a reason.
Oh, okay. Explain. This is actually I didn't know. Explain how this works. How do you raise that? Is that the quality settings for the whole project, or can you do it by mesh?
Yeah, it's for the
Quality
whole
settings.
project.
Okay.
Yeah, it's the quality settings. By default, only 3 lights can affect a mesh at any given time.
Can you specify
until
them?
You go into the
I'm pretty sure you can.
Like
You can set some lighting to be
Pixel
important, and then they never get turned off. I'm pretty sure,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Don't they? Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
used to put
true.
all my lights to important. That's what I do. It's easier.
That was broken in 5.6, and it would only
Yeah, it's
work
fixed
for
now, though.
directional lights. But yeah, it's fixed at the moment. But you actually have to go to your quality settings, raise the number, and you can. I usually put it around like 10, maybe 20, just so it doesn't have so much baking process. But your baking will take a lot longer. Just keep that in mind.
Right, I usually,
But-
I didn't do it here. Maybe that's why it's not doing it. But I usually bump it up to like 50.
But with how the lights work, it looks at the hierarchy, and whatever's on the top of the hierarchy that's affecting that mesh, those will be the only lights. So the top 3 in the hierarchy will be only affecting the mesh at any given time until you raise that number.
This is not the only problem, though. The fact is, like, if you have objects that are intersecting, Unity is just not really good at dealing with those, to be honest. And you can have other lights light up the corner that's going outside of the room from a different angle, which starts making the light bleed in. So if you actually want it 100% correct, the only real way is to have the geometry actually be connected, because that way there's not going to be any seam. So if you were to like make a box and it would be one geometry piece and the faces would all be connected, it would automatically be lit perfectly, basically. The only other way is to, use a different light mapper, or, try to minimize like overlapping stuff. Like, you don't have to do everything non-overlapping or anything, but just try to minimize it so you don't get any other light sources lighting up stuff from behind or something that you don't really want. Because it's possible, like, the skylight is lighting this corner of this geometry from the top, and it just starts bleeding in, and it makes it a little bit brighter, and it starts being weird. So, yeah. Plus, you also have, like, the light settings. If they're set to gradient, it colors it depending on how high the object is, so that can also factor in suddenly not matching anymore.
Okay. Does anybody hear music in here?
Yeah.
Wait,
Nope.
No, not anymore.
Did you guys hear the whale noises in here?
Yes.
I heard fuck all.
Oh.
I heard something. At
Yes,
first,
you
but-
probably just have the audio source not set to loop, so it plays once and then stops playing, right?
Oh.
Oh no, I still hear the noises. I hear the water. Here I hear the water. Oh no, I do. Oh, it just stopped.
walls of the dam.
It does stop. Why is it
It's
stop?
not looping, so it just stops after a while.
Oh, okay. So there's a trigger some. Oh, and when I came in, it started up again, and now it stopped.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
only
no,
goes
here's
like a
the-
little
Playing
bit.
once.
Oh, weird.
I think something else is happening. I think the clip is like a minute long.
This thing, the clip for here? This
Yeah.
is a minute long?
Yeah.
Oh,
Huh.
no, so it kind of went whale noises, and then it kind of went dolphin noises and faded out.
Yeah, so when you come in here, it should be like Safari noises.
Yeah, it sounds like a
But you
jump.
might
Sounds
have
like a little-
some triggers overlapping because this area is really close to the other one over there, where the actual output. So you might just have to double check.
Oh, okay, that's weird. So, Spooky, when I'm over here, if I stand, you know, like right here to hear the aquarium sounds, and then I just kind of peek in a little bit for a second, I hear the forest noises out. Oh.
The force
Yeah,
noises fade
they
out
stop.
after like 2 seconds or about.
I
I
feel
would
like the
suggest
triggers are
checking how
working.
big the triggers
Do you have
are.
an
They might be
animator on them?
overlapping at this
I think the
point.
colliders might be overlapping.
Are you turning off one sound effect to
It's-
while you
it's just
enable the other per trigger?
Yeah, so like the collider in here triggers the whale
I
noises.
suspect that if you walk in here, you're getting stuck between both of them, and you might trigger both at once.
Yeah. You need
So what
And
you
try to
what
disable
you
each
probably want to
other.
do is for your animator, because I see you're using an animator for the music. Kind of like
Yeah.
a monologue. So instead
Yeah,
of
can you
using
add
a
boobs to these
bool
avatars?
for
I can see
each
the
one,
difference between you
use
and
an
mine.
integer for all of them.
Sorry, what?
So for example, Safari would be
Can you
1,
add boobs to these avatars so I
and
can
then
see the
whale
difference?
would be 2, and when you walk into a box, it sets
I
it
don't
to
know
2.
how much I'll be
So that
using
you'll
this one.
always be one or the other, instead of being confused between both. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. But if I did it that way, if they were to like respawn, would the audio continue with them? Or no, that'd be like it'd be the
That
same trigger.
Depends
like-
what you. As long as you put something at spawn to detect when they go there, then it'll be fine. Yeah.
Okay. So I have another question. So I downloaded a whale from Sketchfab, and it's got all these keyframes to make the whale animate that I wanted to put in there. But when I pull it in, I can see all the keyframes, but they're all grayed out, and I can't access them, and I don't know why.
Duplicate
That's
it, and then you
something
can. Yeah. So like in your import thing, find the clip, duplicate it, and then that's now the one that you can edit and put into the animator and do whatever you want with.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I figured it was just something simple that I didn't know.
Yep.
Spooky. Something about the light is definitely leaking because people out here are being lit up orange, while some other people are being lit up blue in the orange room.
Yeah. I was really just
If you
concerned
really
about this
haven't
stuff.
baked it or anything, and you
Yeah, I
don't
haven't
use
baked
light
it.
probes or anything, then something is really screwy.
Okay, so
Well, I
number
just kinda
one, I
threw
really
down-
like the light design. I think like it's extremely effective. But it's all real time right now.
Yeah, I didn't bake anything because they're
Yeah.
not like all set, or the settings aren't set.
Yeah.
for
Well,
what
I mean,
want
you're
the
gonna
bake
get
to be.
weirdnesses because you can only have so many active real time lights at a time anyway. So like as you were kind of moving around, I could see some like popping in and off of you, which that's just you bake it and it'll take care of that.
Yeah. And I'll put light probes down.
Hey, puppy.
That's kind of it.
Cool. Well, hey, then
All
do
my
you want to just give us a quick
questions.
tour around? Like, let's see more of the stuff.
Okay. So, I mean, like I said, I built this whole thing out, and then I didn't like the layout, and then I started building this version of it. So it's kind of not built out at all.
So it looks like, is this a Pro Builder? You did all this in Pro Builder?
Yeah, this is all Pro Builder.
Nice.
So the whole idea is that it's a science center, and there was going to be like some space stuff up there, and you can already got the opportunity model in there that I got from Sketchfab. But yeah, this.
Can we go? Can we jump up on them? Oh no, you can't go in.
No, there's a wall. Yeah. So yeah, this area is just the aquarium, and I want a lot of fishes kind of just floating around. And looking at particles to like get bubbles and things in there to make it look more realistic. The whole area is designed so that you should be able, like, I wanted people to be able to go through the whole thing smoothly and not be lost. So like this area goes back up to the main area, and this area wraps all the way around.
Okay, well let's go there. Let's go there. Let's see the places you got.
To join, so
this is going to be the reptile room.
And I placed portal
I was going to put some animals in there, doing some stuffs. And this is just a stair. I want to put a waterfall in here somehow. I thought that'd be cool.
Ooh, that would be cool. Like right on top of the stair. You gotta walk through it.
So yeah, I wanted you to see the aquarium too, right when you spawn in, and that's where we all spawned in at. And this was going to be like the science area. I was going to put opportunities, what was it? It's getting dark and my battery's running low. I was gonna put that on, like,
it makes me weepy! It makes me cry!
And then this is the area. This area I don't really know how to do yet. And I don't know how to ask about it because I haven't tried it yet, but I want this whole area to be like a thunderstorm.
Oh,
So,
wow. Okay.
Yeah, I want rain coming down, and then I want thunderstorm sound effects. So that's all. That's a
Luckily,
whole thing.
Unity does have a lot of assets that you can use for that. So like.
Would the clouds be? Would that be like a particles thing, or?
Yeah, you just have a particle system, and then you make it like a volume, and then you have them spawn and fade away and like spin while they're doing it, so it looks like this tumultuous thing.
Yeah, you can literally find like free or very cheap assets that do things like your basic weather effects, and then just customize them how you want, which is what I've done in the past.
Cool.
You have to be a little bit careful because like I don't know, rain, if there are individual particles, that can be super lag heavy, but I've seen so like the Spanish Hub world had this beautiful like floor rain shader thing. There's some cool stuff out there.
That's
so just
cool.
like, find something you like and optimize it, customize it.
I just have to look around. I haven't even gotten there yet. But and this room is still very much a work in progress. It's going to be a theater area, and I was going to have a science clip play in here with some particles.
Cool.
It was going to be Carl Sagan's Blue Dot. Is kind of, I think, the clip I'm going to use.
Ah, I love Carl Sagan.
Yeah.
Oh, I would love that.
So, yeah, I thought that'd be cool in here, but you gotta do it. I think you wrap right around through the tube. That's kind of it.
Nice.
Lakuza says the world looks nice.
Yay, thanks.
Do you plan on doing a different glass shader here? Because it just looks like there's nothing here.
Yeah, I was thinking about it. Usually I use just the standard stuff, but I want this to look way better. It looks kind of trashy right now. The whole aquarium looks kind of bad.
Well, there is something here, but you can't tell. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, there's a wall here.
Yeah.
It's just too the colors
refraction
too
is
warm.
hard.
Need more gray.
That
Yeah,
world
I
we
found
were
some
in
good
yesterday with those little jiggly things, they had like perfect refraction. I'm not sure how well that would work on flat surfaces, but those things were cool.
Well,
I found some cool
fake the glass,
shaders.
but you need you can't use white. You can't just use pure white. It needs to be more gray, and then the opacity can't be that low or too high. Like there's a middle level there, but you can still fake it, or it looks okay.
Yeah, usually that's what I do. The cool shaders I find, they always like mess up in VR. Like they look bad.
It's true. It's hard.
You guys probably, yeah. So I guess we just gotta play with it. I'm gonna give it more of an outline too.
Specifically for VRChat as well, so just gotta know where to look for them.
Right.
Oh, yes. So like, You might just try baking a reflection probe and see what that does.
Oh, that could work.
Yeah, because if you stick a reflection probe in there, it'll change all the looks of your materials a lot sometimes.
That's true. I forget about that.
Well, it's not just you should add. It should be like a requirement to add a reflection probe.
Yes, exactly. Like, hey, anybody building a world, when you here's what you need to have. You need to have VRC world. You need to have reflection probe. You need to have, kind of like there's the basic things that you should have. Like start with your light probes. You don't just start with a group so you don't forget to do it. Yeah, just kind of the basics. Don't set your ambient to black. All that kind of stuff.
Yeah. How about I make a world with all of those things except none of those things?
Japanland Sunset. That was the world with the cool shaders in it.
Everything except that.
Oh, your eye shader?
Japanland Sunset. Yeah, it's a world where there's like these things you can fly around the map of Japan, but they have these teleport portals that have this really cool shader.
Black hole effect.
Yeah, and then it has these little pickups, which are these little jiggly blob guys, and the clear ones have a really good refraction shader on them. So I'll see if I can figure out what they used and if that's an available asset or not.
Well, okay, I have a reflection
shader
that you can put like a
fake
cube map on, and it also works off the real reflection. I'm using it on this character, as you can see from the eye. And it has like a distance fade, it has a distortion, you can put a fake cube map on it, you can have it mixed with the real-time reflections and everything else. I think it would look very cool with this dome effect. Because you can also control like how much of a zoom, how much distortion it does, things like that.
Hey, is that in the database? Stick in the database, buddy.
No, it's not. I'll try to get roll thread to upload it because it's his.
Oh, okay.
Oh, is this his fire shader?
Yeah, it's his. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, if it's okay, the thing is if there is a free link for it, we can put it in the database if it's already available publicly somewhere.
Yeah.
We don't need to get them to upload it. We can post it.
Yeah, he just puts it on VRC mods, which I know you guys don't like VRC mod links, but he only puts it on VRC mods and then he puts it like on his Discord channel.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I think he would be part of the prefabs group. I can get him in there. He's just a bit of a sassy loudmouth at times, so.
Yeah, the group,
nice
they put
guy.
all their stuff on VRC mods. That's kind of like, no.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of thing is tricky because we don't necessarily want to support that website. But if that's the only place where things are being put, I don't really know. I don't know. This is cool. This is cool. Oh, can you show this and just talk us through this and what you'd expect to see and kind of whoever knows about this maybe just kind of is this a hold on.
Well, this was based off
is this a public avatar?
Yeah, it's a public one.
Can you make it clonable?
I think you with Scruffy's avatar.
Yeah, Scruffy made the original, but some of the shaders he had on the far right were lagging people drastically. This one,
yeah, it was also using a lot of cameras.
Well, so I guess if you're a world creator, oh, here we go. I got it now. Let me go ahead and favorite this avatar.
So looking at this, looking at this, you have vertex lights. If it's baked, it's got light probes. It's got your ambient lights, which is gray in this world. It doesn't have any reflection probes because that's just black. It doesn't have any of the other shaders. The light color is black. The light direction is black because there's no directional light in here.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and then we've got a bunch of popular VRChat shaders here. And hey, take this over into the other room. Let's see how it changes over there. I want to pull this out in another world just to see. Oh, you can see that.
Look at that.
Check that out. Check that out. Go ahead. Move.
Oh, already.
Yeah, walk slowly this way. There you go. You can see how the lights affect it really well on this. Oh, that's great.
And some are still blue in here.
Yeah, so as a world builder, if you want to kind of check your probes, check your lighting, this looks like a super useful tool.
It's better in when you're in VR, because if you enable this menu and then you use your other controller, I think it's pointer, you can actually get a staff that you can just point around and look. Because you see there's an extra ball in the center there, like black and white. So when you use your gesture on your other hand, you can get that ball in your hand and you can just use your hand. Yeah, that one, the stick. That one, and you can just use that and you can just point it around and look at it, and it will. Wherever that ball is where.
I see. Oh, so that's your probe. Oh, this is great. What a great tool. Like we should be like showing this off more. I love it.
Yeah. Well,
So I think
Mimi have one
I don't want to cut people off, but I think it may be time to move on.
Yeah.
Before we're here for an hour.
Oh.
Okay.
So
he updated because
let's see here. Suna. Where's Suna?
So do we have everybody? No one wandered off?
We do, yeah. Everyone's
Okay,
here.
great. I love this. Everyone's got a little.
Are you ready?
Just be careful now, because now all your worlds is going to be judged.
It's terrible. I hate it.
No, okay, here's the thing. We are not here to judge people's worlds, right? We're here to we're here to learn stuff from each other, and I'm still new to all this lighting stuff, and so I want to have this tool so that I can check my stuff out. You know what I mean? All right. Looks like we got a portal.
There's a portal. Let's go.
Yeah.
Big
Yeah. Here we go.
Too slow.
Oh, I know. I know. Why can't I go in it?
Something's not right here.
Ooh, look at this.
It's very white. Wow.
It's gonna be night and it's gonna be raining.
Did you model this or are you using a kit?
I modeled this in the last 2 days.
Wow.
Big nice.
Ooh, look at this cool thing.
But it was primarily different with actually doing something else, so I didn't make so much progress. Yeah, I thought the things in December were nice, so I made something with the same idea of rotating forms.
Wow.
The shadow settings on this is like
so you plan
super clean.
Ambient occlusion.
It's using bakery with RTX calculations.
Oh yeah, so that's you were just saying that was a new thing that Bakery just introduced, right?
It took under a minute to calculate this.
Oh god.
Wow.
Oh.
And
So
also
how do you make
look
all the
up,
bricks? Do you
there's
make
like
them manually?
powers and stuff.
Oh, look up above. Look at all that stuff. That's so good.
You can go outside and see that everything's kind of floating. But
Yeah, so how do you make all the bricks? Do you use modifiers or do you edge loop fucking extrude?
I started out with one of these wall panels that is actually like 9 on 9 bricks or something like this, I guess. And I cloned the shit out of that. And,
exactly. Easy clap. That's how you do it.
Then I added the bulwark at the top, and I made these parts by angling in symmetry mirroring on the corner, and then bending it into shape and editing that a little bit. And then I used this one to make the archways out of them as well. And then I used the archways to make the mirror frames out of. And then I just did the windows and the
looks cool. Wow.
metal gate. And the tiles, I did something completely different. They were originally way too big, so. Yep. And they're
While we're
just all
talking
just
about
blown
the
and shifted.
floor, I've got a question. How much does it affect performance, having all of this as one mesh?
It isn't one mesh right now, but it would be better if it was at least not fucking 400 right now.
All right.
Being one mesh all depends on how big the mesh is as well, though.
Yeah.
Also, mesh
And
colliders
it's
on uneven
like
ground.
the mesh,
can be
the
some
problem
kind of
with big
problem.
meshes is not But the primary issue is basically if you make everything one mesh, it can't be freaking cold. So you should at least separate it into sets that are sort of logical. Like I would make like maybe the entire background of this room like one thing, and maybe make the room itself like one mesh. That would be fine. But if I were to make the entire world one mesh, it would never be cold. So.
Yeah, that sounds good.
But looking at this in Unity is kind of atrocious because like the one file has like about almost 1,000 sub items and.
I mean it's pretty usual though.
Yeah.
Pretty usual.
It's right now. I'm just doing.
I have a bamboo forest of 1,000 bamboo sticks. So. She's copied over.
Yeah.
Hand placed.
And right now there's a couple of glitches because not everything is like welded yet. Like there's still separate objects, so like there's glitches a little bit up there. Apparently, I have just noticed. I'm not quite sure why. But yeah, generally there's light issues wherever you have gaps in geometry and stuff. But for a change, it's not here because I use Bakery. I baked it with the same settings on. Well, Unity default, and it was a mess. So.
So I've had a lot of issues trying to implement
kind of
Bakery.
light issues that Spooky had.
Yeah.
Like I had weird things where like the surfaces are like there's only one light. How are these two pieces being lit differently, basically? Yeah, that kind of problem I had as well.
And so like Bakery is better at that, or it's worse at that?
Because it's more physically accurate, meaning that it behaves more like real light would behave, and if you specifically enable some settings, you can have even more accurately physically based stuff. Because like if you have like a Unity light and you make it like have a big range, what happens is even if you put like a wall right next to the light is not blocked by the wall because the range is going outside of the wall, and that way you suddenly have a problem. But in Bakery, it uses the origin of the light and actually to calculate if the right light still reaches it, so it would not light up what's behind the wall. Basically.
So what's the plan for the map other than just the current like base area?
Entrance room with like a couple pillars and 2 sets of stairs and a door that's like sort of permanently sealed shut. Then there's like a dining room, a small library, and a tower, and that's basically it.
So basically making like a nice area to hang out in, like with a mirror, or
no, it's like the home world for some
homeworld,
role.
Oh, here I go. Oh, there we go.
There's gonna be purple grass here. It's gonna be raining, and there's gonna be thunder effect, and there's
gonna be a water on this. Is this a fountain, or what is the middle area?
There's supposed to be a prop that's already finished that I haven't made, but they wanted it to be planted here. It's like some sort of tree that glows dark and everything. They call it a soul tree or whatever. But yeah, they need a place for it, so it's gonna stick here. Otherwise, this would probably be a well or something. But yeah.
Yeah.
They wanted that, so we'll do that.
So you mentioned
that's about it, really.
To animate this, right?
All right.
Not really.
Or you make them spin or something?
Might be cool.
Probably not.
Yeah.
It looks nice enough. I just needed an excuse because people are spawning here. There's not really any way to get in here, and so I was like, alright, I'm gonna stick a portal in here, and I like, if you look at the walls of this castle, they're bulwark that's like facing inwards, which is not typical unless there's like some sort of way for intruders to get in, and the gate also has like, you know, metal bars on it, which is also not normal to be inside a castle. It always is like outside facing or in areas where intruders could break in order to have like additional defense. So I needed some sort of excuse to this being actually sort of correct. So
that's
I
funny.
Had,
like oh yeah, just in case we have invaders for our VR castle.
Yes, so you teleport in, you use the longbows, is or crossbow is
so you
happy
can
with
lock
the
people
arrows.
out, and there would be like, you know, like, I don't know, archers standing up there theoretically. So.
And then they climb the tree and get out.
I watched the YouTube channel about castles, but I still don't know what the inside of a castle looks like, so I have to do more research. But I got the outside, so but that's fine.
It's cool. I like it.
And that's about it. Really.
Lindy page?
Oh yeah, and it has about 165,000 polygons right now.
That's not too bad for this.
I don't know.
I mean, you could also have been mega lazy and then like a good height map and like normal map.
I've been mega lazy. I just copy pasted this thing of 50 times.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean like if you have an issue with your vertex count, like this wall can totally
can be baked.
Yeah, you could like bake that into a normal map and make it a
hype map.
I
hype map, yeah.
Like it's a little bit like anime style supposed to be, but it's also like more an anime that's like having solid colors instead of like super shaded and stuff. And so I was like, if I'm gonna go with solid colors, I'd rather model out the bricks than paint them on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because I feel like if I don't just make nice shading, it'll naturally just look nice anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, I did, actually it's not that simple that I just pasted it. I actually have like variants for like the corners and the top part corners and the outward size of the outward facing corners and so on. So it's not like I just took this and pasted it 100 times and done or something.
But I mean, if you think about it, how many, you said it was like, what, 1K tries?
150K.
Oh, 150K. Yeah, so, you know, like, what, avatars are now like 70K each? So I wouldn't worry too much about it.
Probably, yeah.
T-Cell has proven though that you can have a bunch of... T-Cell has proven that you can have a really high amount of tries without it affecting your performance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, you know, so like, I have these asset packs that like, if once I build the world, it's got millions. And
well, as
as long as you don't
ones,
have
I
that many
guess,
materials,
they'll be
you're fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Perfect.
Alright, I'm pretty much done. I mean, there's nothing else really to show here.
Yeah. It's kind of fun to come out and see the back of the wall, though. Like, check this out.
Yeah.
I just like this effect.
Don't go to the right. Don't go to that side because there's an invisible plane that I'm using to block lights. Since there's no outward-facing geometry, I needed to block the light in a way.
You could use that
So
turn
if you
off
walk
the
through
mesh
that
collider on
shadow,
it.
you just get...
It looks like there's.
I just imported it to Unity for
stack
testing.
and make a window out of. You know.
How it looks.
It looks like those glass blocks that you stack and make a window out of.
Oh yeah. Uh-huh.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Wow.
But yeah, basically everything is floating.
Oh, you match.
Who's the next one, Squid?
Yeah, I just imported it because I wanted to see if the geometry works well, if I got the scale right, and if I actually placed the towers in a way that I could still see them while I'm standing inside, and I didn't have to head through position all over because they were not visible anymore from the angle.
Oh.
But yeah. It's planned to be like finished in a week or so, or two maybe.
I guess it's the same world.
Because I already have like 2 more worlds that I'm supposed to do. Again.
Are you doing all these by commission?
And I have to.
I still have
Some of them, yeah. But I've been busy with something with not a commission for once the last 2 days, and I'm working on another world for a friend that just has some funky mechanics, and I have to up the Amateur world, and I have to fix my club, and I...
I just don't suggest clicking it right away, but we'll do that later. But for now, I'll just draw a portal. As always, alright.
Find a good place. Don't die.
Drop it in the middle.
Close enough. I mean, far enough from the spawn.
Hey Fiona, what did 5 fingers say to the face?
Slap.
What?
no.
Thanks, honey. Oh, I'm not doing the cyan thing of waiting for everyone to get through the portal. I just go in. Irresponsible me.
Oh.
That might be a tight, small avatar. That's not hovering hugely everywhere.
Oh, okay. So is this a no touchy situation?
Bye bye.
Probably, yeah.
Okay.
Especially knowing that.
We'll just do this.
I would just rather wait for everyone. Okay.
Nice.
Is everyone in?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Everybody, maybe?
Yep. Toggle map.
Oh, right. Do we need to
Right.
toggle the mirror off? No, mirror's off. Okay.
Yes. Okay. Is anyone on desktop?
Yeah.
I am on desktop.
Okay, Squid. Can you take a seat and drive to the house over there?
Okay. So do it.
Okay, you need to be a bigger avatar. I can't see over the dashboard.
I can drive them.
Okay, you can.
I'll drive. Oh, I can't see either. Fucking.
Yeah, you can see the map.
What happened to the screen?
I toggled the map.
Is that a house?
Oh.
Not. All right. You should probably stop him. Yeah.
Yeah, I stopped. I can't see where we are.
Sphere. There's a giant sphere underneath us.
Oh, we're driving in this.
All right, then. Let me do this. Like
The seat is
this, I guess.
slightly too low down. Yeah.
I'm gonna grab my keyboard. And...
Hey, did they fix that Z fighting sphere thing? Because I'm not like last time we were here, we had that really bad flicker, and I don't see it this time.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was.
I see some dithering at the distance, but I see.
It's still pretty glitchy for me right now because there are so many people. But oh jeez.
Oh yeah, I do see.
I guess we're here.
Dither.
Okay.
Oh, look! Wait, we lost one.
Don't turn away.
So yeah, I can actually go outside now.
Nice. Oh, I like it. I love seeing this progress pan, which is. Oh, and look, we have the.
Oh damn.
Uh-oh.
Yeah. So this thing is supposed to spawn only one item per time, and there's a 30-second cooldown for now at least. So yeah, basically it spawns just random like regen stuff, whatever.
Well, we have some of the physics bugs happening here.
Tampons. Oh my.
Are these These are synced objects, right?
No, they should be synced.
They are, but if you
they
see
should be
any like
synced,
jiggling
all
and
of them.
floating in the air, that's just kind of like an existing physics bug.
Wow.
Having to do with collision transfer and ownership and.
I'm
object
seeing any
syncing
right
stuff.
now.
Yeah, no, I saw a couple that were jiggling in the air, and I picked one up and I fixed it.
All right. Okay, so yeah, if you try to go too far from the RV, like right over here, you'll start noticing like the barrier.
Oh.
Oh, that's what that
Yeah.
is.
Yeah. I'm actually not sure if I'm going to keep this like this way. Maybe will be something else, something really punishing for the player. But I honestly don't know right now.
So can you?
Yeah,
So
the thing is,
I've seen this effect before, where like it gets solider the closer you get to it.
Yeah, like Koozie uses it.
Yeah. So
that's cube shader.
is this cube's distance fade? Is that what that is?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, there may be better options, but this is the one that I've had for years, so I just decided to stick to it.
It's very smooth.
Okay, well, the bread cooking mechanics are pretty much the same, so there's not much to show on that. And what I actually wanted to talk about is the event system for the door. So. Thing is, I want the vehicle to be able to move only when everyone is inside. Because and don't freak out, just stand there.
He's ditching us, guys.
I think I know what's about to happen.
Are we gonna get it? Oh yeah.
There we go.
Oh, the world moves, yeah.
Yeah, that's like the biggest problem so far. All kind of problem, I guess. So yeah,
You could disable the collider out here though once you start moving.
Wait,
Yeah, and then the
which
world
collider?
theatering.
Oh, you mean like so everyone would fall down and... Yeah, so that's exactly what you do when you press this button. I don't think anyone wants to.
Well, you could also teleport everybody, right? So like when it starts going, you could like just send a RPC and teleport everyone back to spawn, unless they were in the chair or unless they were in the RV. I don't know. Like so, you could set it up in a way that like there's an object that gets enabled or disabled when you come inside the RV, and then if you don't have that enabled or if you don't have the disabled when you're outside. When you start moving, everyone gets teleported who's not in the RV. So like you could do it that way instead of just letting people fall. The falling thing is kind of hilarious, to tell you the truth.
Actually, I'm kind of having some ideas about this. Like, I could teleport people into some sort of a jail that they would have to get out of only with another player.
Oh, nice.
I don't know. That would be kind of mean. I don't know. Well, at least I would like to be able to start the engine only when everyone's inside.
Oh,
I don't know if there's a way to do that properly with VRChat's triggers.
Use like
right
an animator. Use
yeah.
like an animator, and then you have a parameter that's like, oh, if they're outside, it triggers it to be a value, and if they're inside, it's another value, and you just make it so that this engine can only start if that value is the right value.
Yeah, but it's not quite that simple because the person that's inside that's starting the engine is going to have that value.
No, but if they're setting it globally, so like if anytime you go outside, you trigger something to be set. Okay, now it's a 1.
Yeah, but
right, and then
that value is going to be local to every player. And if you sync it, then who's it going to be synced to?
I wonder how that avatar works.
And then if it syncs to the person that's inside, then they can do it while the people are outside.
So I mean, like people have done this, you know. So like for example, Mimi's dance floor, which is you see like is someone on it or someone not on it, and locally everyone can tell. So then it really the only one it matters for is the person who's going to start up the button, as long as it's accurate for them that there's no players outside, then you're fine.
Yeah.
But everyone has to do that. Like you can only do that check when you enter the station, or when you do the interact, or you could constantly do that check for everyone. It only matters for the person who drives.
Welcome to the world.
I mean, there's always
some way of when someone presses a button, basically ask everybody, is anybody outside? And if anybody replies yes, then don't start it.
I would probably consider a brute force option, I guess. I could just make a massive collider for like the entire world and except this area in which we are right now, and check for players inside of this.
Right.
Yep.
Or these triggers actually.
Yeah, because it's event based. It's like, you know, like on interact, enable player checker collider. And you know, if it is false or if it is true, you do various things with your animator. And so I think they would, like you say, a brute force method. It's completely legitimate.
Pretty well as well.
Yeah, that actually sounds pretty efficient because you're not trying to like check every frame. You're not trying to check every 5 seconds. Like you just do it on interact and decide whether or not you can start the engine. That makes sense to me.
Wow, this bus roof is very tall up. Wow.
Can we get out anywhere or just at the house?
Technically anywhere. It's just that this is the only place that I've got so far.
I'm just gonna ask this small question. Why don't you move the bus instead of the world?
Because physics.
Can't you like reset the physics like each time you stop the bus? Like
I can, but the thing is.
So the key is you can't move players together. So have you ever seen like somebody who is not in full body riding on something?
Yeah.
You're gonna have a van full of that.
Yeah, perfect. I love that shit.
So and that's in stations, right? So that's not even using physics. That's just object sync issues. Now add on top of that the fact that like player capsules are not very well handled by moving colliders. If you've ever been in a world that's slowly moving and everyone sort of like shuffle steps. right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so that's...
I mean, that happens anyway if you fall far from the spawn point of the map.
Yeah, that's different, but yeah. So
Yeah.
there's all sorts of issues with like trying to like stick players in something that moves and they're not in stations and they're all synced for everybody. So like,
yeah.
Pretty much like this solution is what we do.
Wow.
I'm also going to try and do something about the day-night change. Well, you can see the sunset right now, so what will happen eventually, like a few seconds after this, the sky will remain just as bright as it is right now, but I might want to make it darker somehow. I don't know. It shouldn't be really hard, but still I haven't really given it much thought, like how to make this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think there may be some day-night cycle prefabs out there, but the fact is with day-night cycles is you are stuck with real-time lights unless you're doing it with post-processing, which I think actually post-processing might be a good thing to check out.
It works now.
Yeah, because you can animate post-processing now, so you could have everything still baked, and then animate, basically the filter on top of it. I want to play with that.
Something else you could do that's fairly common is to just actually make your skybox just a big inverted sphere. And then you can just
actually,
animation.
let me show you something. I hope it works for you too, and I'm not sure if it's on this build. So if you activate the mirror and you look at the mirror, in the mirror actually, you'll notice that the sky is actually different.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, that was unintentional.
That just freaked me out. I was not prepared for the cyan avatar.
This is how I actually started with the skybox. But yeah, apparently I sort of. Well, I don't want to say that I broke
Looks good,
something,
by the way.
but
You should go blonder.
Yeah, I was just working on post-processing. Wow.
Oh, no, that was with the camera. Post-processing shows in mirrors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. It's the cameras it wasn't showing in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I mean, technically, what we're seeing with the mirror is still like a part of what we're seeing, because obviously we're seeing this, but it's just weird because the mirror recognizes it and yeah, it's showing it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, this underside doesn't have a play on it. Wow.
Yeah, hey, Hot Jesus, how's it going?
Hopefully.
He flipped it over like, oh.
So, Hot Jesus.
I'm also going to make like a mission.
I have now taken to saying, Hot Jesus! It's just a thing to say.
For
because I like your name so much.
Here. Yeah, they'll be able to pick their missions to go, like this house, for example.
What did I just do?
It is. There should be a person. I'm not gonna tell who, but it's one special person. He's gonna live there, and he's gonna give quests, and just as much as pretty much anyone else in the world. There's gonna be a bunch of NPCs, hopefully.
Be nice.
Yeah. But yeah, this is actually my very first time testing this with a bunch of people going outside and just check on things. But it definitely shouldn't be.
Never driving around.
Yeah, but it definitely shouldn't be the option. Well, the people are also like on the outside right now.
I mean, you could do an easy outside check, so when you turn on the engine or the drive, it spawns a collider which is outside, which disables the driving.
No, you don't
outside.
It's just the thing that I do not want to teleport people, because teleporting breaks the immersion.
No, but
I want this to be
if
like
you
very
disable the
immersive
driving,
world.
if anyone's outside, that works too.
Or just have it whenever the door opens, you disable it, and whenever the door is
That also
closed.
works.
Yeah.
No,
that's
can
what I'm
fail,
considering right now.
Car, maybe
outside.
just plays like an engine, like trying to start but failing.
Here's a question, which is if a player is stuck inside a collider, it pushes them out, and I'm assuming it pushes them out to the nearest boundary, right?
It's only if they're small. If they're big colliders, that doesn't work.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, if
Yeah,
you're
if
entirely
you're
enclosed in a
underground,
collider, it doesn't work. Is that right?
No, if you're in the middle of a giant sphere, you stay in that giant sphere. But if you're like close to the wall, you get launched out.
Okay. Yeah, so I was thinking, like, this
Well,
one
it's
thing,
the
like, if
case
you wanted
for, mesh
to like push
collider.
people into the
Yeah.
van area, they would physically scoot. But if that doesn't work, then.
No, there's no way that would be reliable enough.
Also, is everyone's like, jeez, what is it called? Like the blurriness.
Focusing effects, the bloom and stuff.
Sorry,
the
Pan, I
bloom,
hate
yes,
it.
Exactly, the bloom.
I hate the bloom.
How is everyone the bloom? Alright.
No.
That was exactly what I was.
This avatar is like radioactive right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little hard on some avatars.
Yeah, the red emission.
Because I know some users have
The
different,
eyes on this one look terrible to me. I don't like the
My
fact that
other
my finger
avatar-
glows. Like, why does my finger glow?
Wait a second.
I don't have a mission on this. Why does my finger glow?
I was actually. I've always been curious
Does it
about
glow?
bloom on this avatar. I've never.
Am
actually...
I gonna be blinded? Ready? So, bloom is very subjective. I have a very strong opinion that bloom should be set at the minimum level where you can tell lights are lights, basically. This is not too bad. Like, but the fact that your skin is glowing, like, that's kind of weird.
If you have HDR, if you
Oh,
have
look over
HDR,
there! Look over there!
Emission, yeah.
Oh god.
Right.
Prepare to be blinded.
All right, there we go. Thanks, Bex.
Spotlight.
Thanks. I know.
You're like a ghost.
You can't get away from them.
They're
You
so
can't.
radioactive that they're.
Yeah. No, you can't. You'll see me anywhere.
Oh, I hate it. Thanks.
Thanks.
There's actually not much.
Yes.
I can actually see you if I open my menu and overlay it on top of you. That's the only way I can like look at you.
Oh yeah.
Whoa, yeah. The menu like.
Oh my god.
Cancels it out.
Yeah.
What?
Oh, that's
In general.
That's an interesting explosion.
Okay.
Yeah, you want to blow it?
That's hilarious.
Well,
Yeah,
I
go
need to
for it.
sacrifice one of the ones that I already have cloned.
You want this avatar? I don't understand.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, give it to me. Oh, give it to me.
The good one-frame animations, perfect. I love it.
Oh, yeah. Okay,
Oh,
here
yeah.
we go.
If you wait, crouch, like crouch and walk. Yeah, I can hear the walk.
Alright, this is going in the pocket for later.
That's a good
Hey,
bobblehead right there as
Rubik.
well. Wow.
You my sister. I love you.
Get you. I love how well we can see maps right now. Smile. Smile. I like how well we're testing maps.
Yep. Good
Alright,
times.
So, where's Pan?
Thanks.
Oh, yeah, where is he?
Is Pan here? Oh, there's Pan. Okay, you're this above.
Let's see which one. Now that everyone's got this on, I have to see who's who. Okay.
That's pretty much all I wanted to show. Unless anyone has like any suggestions or ideas, because I'm gonna put a lot of stuff in here.
I have a question.
Yep.
With the items that you have sitting out here, are they going to be sitting out here all the time, or is there a way you're gonna like get rid of them?
Yeah, this is actually a really good question. This is what I wasn't thinking about until we actually started this test. So I guess maybe I'll like add an additional collider that destroys everything.
Yeah.
There
I just,
will be like a trash can.
Mm-hmm.
When the vehicle's moving, they're constantly falling and I was lagging. Ooh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. I mean, actually, once they right now, I set it to respawn on when it hits the limit. But eventually, I'll probably just destroy it because resources weren't actually like infinite. I guess geez, what's the word for it? Like They ran out. Exhausted.
Yep.
Yeah,
Although,
I guess
just
they weren't exhausted.
friendly PSA, which is for synced objects, use reap. Not destroy.
Alright. Wait, once again, can you repeat that?
So instead, use reap. Send RPC reap instead of destroy on synced objects.
Send RPC, REEP or?
REAP, like cutting the wheat.
Oh, REAP. Okay, good. Gotcha.
Reaper. Get that scythe out. Cut those head off.
What's the difference between those two things?
I believe that reap handles all of the networking stuff. So I honestly don't know the difference. And like, is Phase Dragon still here? Phase, do you know exactly what reap does? If you look at the log, you can see it's doing some extra stuff as well as a destroy.
Well, basically, like when you tell an object to spawn, then everybody who joins late is also going to tell that object to spawn. You know, because so that everybody's caught up. When you destroy it, it just gets rid of the object. And so, but when people join late, they still spawn the object and then destroy it immediately. So you can have hundreds of items, depending on how long you've been there, that just immediately spawn and then destroy.
So that's someone joins and you get the massive lag spike.
Yeah, yes. Reap destroys the object and cleans up that buffer to trigger, so that it doesn't ever spawn in the first place for late joiners.
Nice. Yeah, and you may...
You have a million objects you need to spawn.
Yeah, and so like, if you destroy a lot of objects at once, you may have noticed that will cause a little lag spike. Imagine an old instance in which people have spawned and destroyed things a lot, and then you try to load into this, and then you try to process all that stuff, like you're gonna black screen. So yeah, use reap.
That's what I used to have in Courtroom, and in fact I still have 200 pictures in there that you can spawn, and this is why I'm going to replace them with just like a tablet instead of pictures that it'll just be able to like switch between pictures.
Yeah, having a lot of pickups, like stuff like card games, it's just like, or it's just,
yeah, laggy.
And yeah, and then people are like, oh, I just want to make like a Cards Against Humanity or whatever.
Also,
and it's just
one
like,
thing. One thing I was curious about, can someone with a short avatar stand on a table? Because I was never able to do that.
You would be able to.
Your collider is still the size of a large avatar.
Yeah.
Ah, I see.
So it's actually, player colliders are a fascinating topic, and I would love to have someone do one of the TED Talks on that, honestly. Like, Nacton did a set of experiments to find the various types of player colliders and what shape they are. And they are not all the same, and they are not what you'd expect.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Another topic though.
The height one is always going to be the same for every single one. Like, it doesn't matter if you're a giant avatar, if you're super small, it will always be like 1.8 or whatever it is.
Yeah, so that's the when you're walking around and bumping into stuff, all your doors need to be a hair over 2 meters. Otherwise, you might be able to get through as low as 1.8, but you'll have a little hitch, or sometimes you might have to jump or like look down. But if you make every ceiling like 2.01, you'll go through easily. Anything under that, you're gonna get stuck sometimes, even if you're little.
Excellent.
Alright. Also about the driver seats, lots of people said that they had issues with their height. Like, I mean, obviously, to some people who are like, I guess like 10 centimeters tall.
Guess who can tell you? Oops! What did I just do? Guess who could tell you about that?
Oh, there. Actually, yeah, someone could do this.
No, but Splinks.
It's like in that movie.
What solution could we possibly have for his problem?
What was happening?
Oh my god, I thought this was Splinks!
Oh, yeah.
Wait, who's wearing the Splinks avatar here? You're not Splinks!
I made it. That's my avatar.
No, he made it.
I know, but you always wear it, so I thought that was you. Even because your nameplates are like stuck in the ceiling. Yeah, so he's like having problems with the ergonomics of his chair.
Oh.
There you go.
I have a chair to fix your issues.
That's right. I have started to see the Splinx
Ignore
chairs.
what I just did.
The Splinx chairs being used more and more in Worlds, which is they will set the chair based on your hip height, but you can also adjust it. And like he has the prefab adds little books so that Short Avatar's viewpoint will go up too. But if you want something specific, you want to have like the camera always at a certain height. He might be able to help you with that.
I feel like we need to do this.
Yeah.
Is your avatar literally blue guy, or are you not loading for me? No, it's your avatar's a blue guy. Yeah, okay. Blue me, blue guy.
We're together with them and just going like, the avatars are not loading. What's happening? No, or no? I guess not. We did that at New Year's. And that was so so confused.
There's a prefab where you could actually auto-adjust the person in the seat based off where the camera's position is. However, it has a very odd issue when you move your head up and down, because it always tries to readjust yourself. With what my prefab does, it just bases it off the hip position rather than the foot position. And I also have everything made. Oh shit! That was loud.
Yeah.
No, but you can customize it any way you want. You could have like custom gestures, so if someone's sitting in the seat and you want a gesture to call to the seat to spawn something, you could actually do it with that method and do a gesture, and it'll actually summon something in the world if you wanted to do something much like that. Whoa. God,
Alright.
Needs to stop.
Doesn't want to think about that.
He's here somewhere.
Yep. But I mean, it would be awesome if the standard chairs just used your hip method. You know, it would be awesome.
I mean, animations.
So
I gave him everything.
No, I think it like they wanted it to go by foot position because they thought that would be more intuitive, and so like you wouldn't see people's like legs sticking through the floor, and so that kind of stuff. So for example, in the pug, when someone sits in a chair, if they use your prefab, then their legs are going to stick down into the floor below. However, I think most people would argue that the hips is more important.
Yeah, very much important.
Sorry, Squid, I'm never gonna finish.
Shut up. Finish. Gonna stuck here forever. You're gonna die of old age. Pega hands.
Alright.
That's right.
Alright.
Okay.
If we're done.
This is mostly diagnostics for my world. I need to see if the broadcasting is all still correct because I did a bunch of changes. I switched everything over to an animator system. So, hopefully, we will do, what is it, which mode? Invite plus?
Invite plus?
I don't know.
Whatever you want.
Invite plus. No.
Public.
Public.
This is Invite plus. Okay, Hot Jesus. That's pretty hilarious. I have a feeling I'm not going to tell him about that. I'll let him find that comment himself.
All right. The controls are all. Don't ignore these messages. They're obsolete.
Ignore it.
But we'll just wait for everybody.
Looking at them
but you can take a look at this
and
map.
ignoring.
Look at this map.
Wow.
Holy crap. This is so much better.
It is a green sea and islands.
Okay, Truth, did you model this? Tell us about it.
No. I got this from a guy who apparently they spent a few years doing another fan project for Dragon Ball Z, and they built this map. It's a Quake map, so it had to be converted through several different. Had to go through 3D Max and then pull it into Unity from there. But it worked, and mostly worked. There was a skybox for it, or there was a sky thing, and that messed up. There's supposed to be like trees around. I think those ones also messed up because the way they were handling sprites and stuff. Anyway, looks like everybody's here, so we can just teleport down to the surface.
Wow.
Okay,
Yo,
so
right,
let me
so
see.
Splinx
Like,
has
is this
one.
still really loud sounds? I'll turn him up a little bit so we can hear. Oh, where'd he go? There he is.
All right, so here we're gonna teleport.
So what do
It's a
you
lot
pick up?
soft, right? Huh?
Ouch!
Okay, so he's from.
So you're killing us.
Stop shooting us!
Splinx!
Stop shooting
Knock it
us!
Pega hands.
Wait. Oh, this is not working.
Wow.
It's not.
Oh no, guys, Splint is about to use 1% of his power.
Oh my god.
It's not working. Oh man, why isn't it working?
Yeah, it was working just a moment ago.
Wait, what is supposed to be happening? Because I see a lot of stuff happening.
I'm supposed to be able to recharge with this.
I can't hear him.
Oh,
Oh, Truth! The voice fall off, buddy!
There's 3D sound now, so it's a little softer. Splinks, come over here with the tools.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so, all right, what's happening here? So you let go of those right now?
Yep.
Just drop them, and then I'll try to recharge. So I can... It's not doing it. It works single player, doesn't work in multiplayer.
Wait, I see you recharging.
Well, no.
The animation goes, the blue bar. Here, hold these.
Yeah, now I get what you mean. Yeah.
Now try to use the energy to teleport around or do something with it.
Let's pull up the log.
Okay, and now recharge.
Yeah.
Why?
Try it again.
All right, well, let's test flight. Let's test flight here. We're gonna.
Yeah, how do you fly?
It's only one. Oh my god, yes, he's gone.
Okay.
When?
So that's also
Ouch!
not working.
Oh, I died.
That is working.
I'm dead. Uh-oh.
Flying works fine.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, Kamehameha!
It's working.
Oh, nice. You're targeting players directly.
All right. Does anybody see?
Ouch!
Oh,
Guess I'll die.
Yeah, we all died.
He killed himself. Wow.
I'm healed by its radiance.
Oh.
I wonder what happens if we plant.
Is it only on an like I'm assuming? So if you get shot in there, do you get hurt until you go out and in?
I think so.
It's probably on anti-collider, so yeah, I guess.
So much for that. So
Doesn't
the
work.
triggers they don't work in multiplayer.
Yep.
He's flying. It looks like. Or are you just teleporting?
It's kind of weird. It's jittering back and forth, even when I'm.
Oh.
It's jittering back and forth, even when I'm not like going up or down.
Okay.
Also, when you have it. Yeah. Well, you're mainly. Wait.
What just happened with the sound? Turn that off.
I can't turn left and right without flying. What is that sound? Oh, wait. Did someone? Yeah. Oh,
Blinks, you don't know how to behave, man. We can't take you anywhere.
I didn't press it.
Oh, I thought you did.
I didn't press it.
Wow.
No, I'm just singing it. I love this song.
Oh, okay.
Here. Yeah,
I had to
put
turn it
back
off.
on.
Dragon. Dragon Ball Z. Wow. Dragon Ball. Dragon Ball Z. Wow.
Well, that's really. I don't know how to get that to work. Then why is it even broken in the first place?
So you just redid it to be an animator, right? So I think it's just gonna be going like pick a small section of it and figure out the broadcast for like just a small section, and then extrapolate that out to the rest of your system. Like you have so much going on, trying to debug all of it at once is gonna be really hard.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just. And that is just sucks. Okay. All right. So what we can do is just respawn so that we're not hearing this stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Wow.
So all the sounds are 3D now, so they don't travel with us.
Yep.
Except for that, I'll go mute.
Oh my.
I don't know what that was.
That was perfect timing.
I have the sounds off because
Okay.
they were really loud. Okay.
Yeah. So okay.
I like the recharge also recharge. Wow.
Huh? Yeah. So it was supposed to be for. What the hell?
Oh my. Yeah.
It's okay. We can just turn our sounds off. We can just turn our sounds off.
Yeah, that's what I've done.
Yes.
People are trolling.
I like that my map has no triggers in it. Wow. Easy clap. Just don't have VSC triggers in your map. Easy clap. Smile.
Wait, what?
Well, can I borrow someone to help me with triggers?
Oh my goodness.
Wow. I know basic triggers. Nothing else. Wow.
Okay.
Oh. All right. Well. Yeah, I still need to. Yeah. Sketch you.
Wow.
We still need to do that screen share. You want to do that after Dev Meetup? After this?
You better not call it Dev Meetup. I caught that.
I stopped
Squid, what's our cue?
Yep.
What's our cue in timing?
I have to
Let's go. Timing. Whenever we want to break up, this is the last world.
Okay, because we
And
have one person in the comments that has something that they wanted feedback on, but like, you know, I'm like,
yeah, we can go.
When's a good time?
We can go to the next world, or we can go back to that. I want to tell you guys about. You said earlier that you want. Hold on. God.
Sound effects off. Yay.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
So I want you guys were asking about feedback for the event in general at the start, and I did have something. So one of the things is that so you guys stream for this thing, right? And what would be nice is, or what would be cool is, you have like a dedicated person who is gonna build a video for every single thing, and then really clean it up and try to show off the worlds as best as they can. And then you get, because what happens is that if you make a cinematic world, like the worlds where you walk through and it's like a theme park or something, you can see a bunch of stuff. People will do that once, and then it just dies, right? Look how fast Volt died. Volt was just amazing on the visuals, and it was this massive population, and everyone just got bored with it instantly. And that is kind of off-putting if you want to build something. You're just well, it's only going to get seen once, and then it's going to go into the graveyard. But if we make a series of videos during these types of situations where you really show off, and try to make it just really amazing, and then you have them in sequence, and then when people are looking for VRChat videos and stuff like that, and they can go to the lowbrow, basically sexual stuff that's innuendo that's littered throughout all the internet, or
Squid just
you
backed
can
out.
find a chain. You can find a chain of high quality cinematic type of worlds, and you can just for people to go, oh wow, this is really cool, and then you go to the next one, and now everyone who comes in will be able to see all this stuff over and over that people have done, and then they'll provoke people to make higher quality
so
stuff.
I agree that this is something that we need. I don't think this is the event for it. We're working on this and working on. So the thing is, as world developers, we're not video producers and we're not streamers. But there are people out there that some of us maybe, right? But as in general, that's not what this group is focused on. However, we do care a lot about our content getting discovered, and so there is other efforts going on to help with that. So there are people who will make world trailers. CatRaiser used to be doing some of this. He kind of gave up. He's got other life stuff going on, but so there's people out there that want to do content creation around worlds stuff, and so we're trying to hook these people up. And it would also be, I agree, really awesome for people who want to get trailers made and stitch them together and have a channel that is literally world trailers. That's a great idea. I don't think that we necessarily want to show pieces of this event in those trailers because we're usually showing the broken stuff. But yeah, we hear it.
Well, you can have, if you're, so with it, rather than having how there's a dev meetup, right? You can have a meetup thing where you're showing off things rather than trying to get feedback. You're actually just, I thought
the community events, that, where... exactly. Yeah. I love this idea. I don't know how to edit videos, but I would love to do that. So maybe.
Right. So we just need to find.
No, the world creator just do it himself. He's a clap.
Yes.
He's Windows Movie Maker perfect, the best program.
Yeah. No, like
Smile.
at the community meetups, right? So like I like to get the tour. So I know like we kind of like show up, everyone like runs around. I love to like go around with the creator and like talk about it. I typically am talking about it from a world builder perspective, but if it wants to be just more of a showcase, we can do that too. There's totally streamers out there that want to do showcases though. So like I don't think we have to do all the heavy lifting on that.
This is just an idea, but wherever it is we end up hosting these little TED Talky events, what if there was
I do agree. I'm
space
annoyed.
for Worlds?
Brilliant. I mean, we we spend all our time creating. We suck at publicity. But we need it. So like we need to make it easier for people. Anything that adds on to that I think would be great.
No, like I was telling you this earlier, Squid, about like doing it kind of like at the pub, how they do their events, because you miss that and you hate waiting for it. We need to have like a big event where we all gather, but we have a subject matter, but we all have common grounds to talk about. Because that's what's throwing off a lot of people. No one wants to join into a conversation if they can't contribute to the conversation. But if you give everyone a subject that they need to talk about, everyone is feeling more obligated to jump into the conversation. If we would just have like a big get-together, kind of like how we did with St. Patrick's Day yesterday, everyone would just talk about it. And you can have collaborators with sayings like, well, this is how I would approach it, this is how I would approach it, and eventually people would be making different ideas. Like I said with the game mode, you just give a game mode idea, everyone comes together,
Hey, Hot
they
Jesus,
talk
send
about
me,
like what they're brainstorming, and then
Discord
other people will jump
DM.
into
You wanna
it. Now,
find some
since
free
everyone
night?
has a common goal, everyone
I'll
feels
put that in
more
the comments.
obligated, to kind of interact. And from there, people are collaborating. Then the next week, from there, people are now going to the community meetups to show it off. So it's two like different events helping out each other, make it bigger.
Yeah.
Not to mention, like, most people are kind of like technically minded. Like I'm telling you about Cyan. Cyan's really good at the technical mindset, but if it wasn't for Fiona making the assets, it wouldn't really be any projects out there. And I think it would be better to get people out there to kind of like collaborate and share ideas back and forth. But maybe we can do something like that.
We had this
from area to area.
We had a sort of internal discussion as well, where when we make our hub world, you could go in there and you could actually select your profession or your strongest side, basically. So you could go in and you can select like, okay, I'm a 3D artist, I'm a trigger, script, whatever. And whenever I like open my menu and I look at you, I could just see whatever you are. And I know that, oh, he's a good 3D designer, so I could go and talk to him about 3D design.
Yeah, well, we could do that with Toy Box, with the diamonds that we put above our head. We can just replace it with like little name tags and just what you want above your head.
Yeah, of course, we don't want things to be visible all the time, though, because of performance reasons.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, I mean,
But if it's
also,
just
I
like
mean,
the
like
same
you can
simple little image.
You can like this is what networking does, right? You just learn what people can do, and so.
Yeah,
like,
I don't think we need to have like
to codify it.
I think it should just be like, what do you do?
Yeah, and so I mean, one of the things. So for example, here, Pan was like, oh, you can't really see stuff in this chair. I'm like, well, we happen to have somebody here who's made a prefab just for that and knows a lot about stations and animations. Hey, now you have networked. Congrats.
Congrats.
Yeah. Also, one other thing I would love to promote is people doing workflow streams. I learned so much from watching like 3 hours of Sketchu. Right? It's like, I don't know, you can even do that with UVs. Holy crap! I love that. People
Same thing with
just
Jet
do
Dog.
it. Yeah.
Like Jet Dog streams his progresses, and I can't even fucking follow half the shit he does, but he goes into like great lengths and explains why he's doing this and this. And during certain triggers and setups, he's like, well, if I wanted to go back, I would set this method up. So this is why I'm adding this, and this is why I'm adding this, because if I wanted to integrate another set of triggers, it would just call to this folder. And this is for more organizational purposes. And he'll go into great depth of like what he does.
Oh, I need to go check his stuff out now. Is he on Twitch or is he on YouTube?
He's on Twitch.
Okay.
Yeah.
That needs a follow.
Exactly.
Occasionally when I'm working, I'll just like have him playing on the other screen or just a stream or something else.
Very nice.
Also, he's one of those type of people, it's best to actually have a recording of what he does because he'll lose you if you just look away for a split second because he's always jumping from one area to another.
It is scroll through the vaults, exactly.
Yeah.
It's also, I don't know, like, I found streaming workflows was incredibly focusing. I'll do it even if no one's watching. You know, I won't even stream it necessarily. I'll just, like, narrate what I'm doing, and it really really focuses you.
I mean, I love that shit. I always talk, like, even if I'm on, like, a screen share with one person, I always, like, literally say everything I do.
Yeah. No, and everyone's got
It's just
different
nice to do.
styles, right? So, like, Legends and Sketch, you don't talk when they do it. So, you know, but you can just kind of, like, tune in and see what they do. Cause
I mean,
like,
Sketchy does talk if you sit in VRChat and like, hey, Sketchy, what you doing? But not on stream though. That's too scary. Too scary for the Sketch. Wow.
Oh, my excuse is my aircon.
Yeah.
No, I mean, everyone has different styles. Like, obviously, if you're gonna be like, what's a Sketchy stream like versus a Fiona stream? Guess which one's gonna be a little noisier, you know?
Oh, this is the Sketchy person, dude. You should watch their streams. They're rowdy.
Yeah,
as
they're
shit.
they're trash. I mean, what? Trash, Sketchy. Oh
Meme
my
Lord.
god. Wow, trash. Wow. Perfect.
So.
Okay, well, we have some people in the comments who are actually really interested in the World Tours and Showcase stuff, so, like, we'll get something going.
Yeah.
We have some
Have some
half-baked
words I wanna
stuff,
show
but
too.
it's coming along.
Wait, Fiona, are you not in that Discord?
Which one?
The tours.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lacusa's.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I can't wait for that to kick off.
Yeah. So, I mean, yeah, it's not secret or anything, but, you know, we have a group of streamers who, like, you know, Lakuza is actually a world creator that's been really proactive on the publicity side. And he's been doing these himself for a long time. And so he's like, you know what? I keep talking to streamers who are like, we want more of this. Who else do you know? And world creators who are like, nobody knows about my world. And so, like, hey, guess what? We have a Discord and I'll connect people.
Hey.
So
I know streamers. Smile. I can bring them to some worlds. Wing.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the thing is, like, it's also like
bring Dyrus. Easy clap.
He's in there already. But
yeah.
There's some streamers who are much more into the tour stuff, and some streamers who just like they want to show up and joke around, and they don't necessarily want to see the world stuff. So it's you have to like pick the right venue.
Yeah. Your microphone's so way better way from your mouth.
Is it? I don't want to like Darth into it.
Yeah. there's plenty of streamers who is like, okay, what do I do today? Let's just go through the new words list. It's like if you could do like what I would like, because like I usually like I know Sketchy makes cool worlds. I try to show off her stuff to streamers and stuff. And what I would like that might be helpful to show off your stuff, like do a compilation, like here's the coolest words that we in our like game design community have made, so you can like go down the list of like coolest worlds or something like that in a Google Docs or something, or like a Discord pin channel or something. Yeah. That might be like a nice idea to show off the stuff as
there's a lot of stuff that isn't public, so for a reason, you know.
I mean, if you have a launch code,
really
that's good enough though. Can't you get in a private world with each launch code though?
No, like you need. It's like you need a guided tour. You wouldn't be able to get through it by just, you know.
But here's the thing as well, is that we love having streamers coming to the world. It's just that when you put a lot of effort... Well, it's not just that, but it's when you put a lot of effort into it, even if you put up billboards explaining what to do, you get people in there just like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then they just say that this world is shit. And it's like, oh, well, you just told that my world is shit on your stream, so now like 400 people is gonna think it's shit.
Yeah, no. It's just you learn it's bad games. I need to have more enforcement. That's what I think.
Right, so that's why if you have like a competent person that's doing the videography, right, and they're going through and it's like it's high level. You know, like the difference. I don't know if you guys go on Reddit, but there's a difference between like high quality GIFs and that whole community, and then like random meme stuff where
Yeah.
it's like there's like a level of intelligence that is required. Okay, but
Not everyone is smart, exactly.
And so if the host is at that level, then they're gonna take the crowd through at that level. They're gonna have that higher level experience where, there's a bunch of lowbrow stuff out there of just, half naked anime chicks running around VRChat, and that's all fine and good, but like I haven't seen any sort of like bastion or like a pool for the higher sort of tier stuff in VRChat yet. I don't know if it does exist, and I just I'm not aware of it.
Confirmed.
Have you guys seen? Have you guys seen like a sort of like a high tier? I thought that like VRC prefab and like that kind of like the dev circle of people would be that kind of area. That's like the area that you go to if you want to see sort of the next level of content rather than just like the lowest common denominator.
It's the right people, but it's the wrong events, because it's like most of it is like just busy making our own stuff. So like there's the dev meetup for
that's why
damn you know.
That's why when you have a company, you have multiple people within different fields. So you have the developers, and then you have the people that makes the intro movies and all that, and the trailers. So there's all these specialities within that field, and you can't demand a person that makes a world to be able to make a good intro trailer for his world.
Right.
And so we rely on streamers to do it, but when you get streamers or people that make videos,
it's rolling the dice basically.
Yeah, it's really rolling the dice, because you don't know if you're going to get a person that's going to be able to read a board, even if it's in plain English in big letters. You don't even know if that person's going to be able to read a board or not. And then if that person is a big follower, yeah, but if that person is a big streamer and has 1,000+ viewers every single time, and he goes into your world and he says, "Oh, this world is shit," and it says on a big sign, like I could say here, it says "truth" on your nameplate. But if that person goes in with the same sign and looks at it and says, "Here is what you have to do. You have to click this button and it will start the world," and then he comes in like, "Oh, how do I start the world? Oh, I don't know. Okay, this world is shit. Let's go somewhere else."
Yeah. So
but you get the point there.
So in other industries, sometimes what will happen is if that's a problem, then all the devs, or a lot of devs, can get together and kind of back certain streamers and say, okay, this guy actually is intelligent, and he's not going to mess up. And this is where like the levels of trust between like industries occur. So you say, okay, we have certain streamers, and then they get like priority. You know what I'm saying? Like they will, we all just agree, like this is social engineering now. We all will just agree. We're gonna blacklist most people.
I wouldn't. Let's not go that far, but
no, we have to go that far. We have to go that far.
That's the thing.
It's all networking, right? So yeah, I get it.
You can do this, and this actually happens a lot. Is where people will just be like, all right, we're fed up with idiots coming in and misrepresenting us. We're gonna have these specific people, you, and you. They're gonna be the people that we go to as a group, and we've all agreed, hey, let's all go to these people, and they're the ones that are gonna be smart enough to show off these worlds in the correct context. And then, and so then those guys, what they get from you is they get exclusive content, and they get to be, they get a larger following because people have to go to them. And then what you get from them is that they're showing it off correctly. They're not going to just be running into walls and just being idiots about your world.
Yeah.
Right? So that's, you want to say something?
Oh, so like we're all very aware of this, and that's pretty much what's happening, right? Is like exclusive group of people who are given like previews and advanced news and special tours before things go public. On the other hand, I think there has been a lot of world creators who are getting a little more sophisticated about the publicity, and they're making trailers or finding someone to make them. And so part of it is on us. If you want to have something out there that you have complete control over, then we just have to be like, if you have a big world, let's make it easier for people to make trailers. Be like, here's the steps you do to make your own trailer if you want to do it yourself, or here's some people that are interested in helping it. And then if you want to do world tours where you have a curated experience and people who, On the other hand, I don't want to derail the conversation because this is not about the world feedback. So, like, I would love to talk about this stuff more, definitely. But like Squid, I want to let you like maybe direct the conversation for the things that you want to see have happen.
Yeah. So basically, I basically spilled all my ideas.
Okay.
But again, just gonna reiterate, like I'm not quite sure what kind of a theme I want to go for this kind of map where these presentations would happen, where these discussions would happen. But I was kind of thinking of I'm going to be revisiting my cave project later this week, and because I'm trying to go back and finish all my old projects that I never finished, because I always move on to things way before they're done.
It's okay. It's okay to let things go. It's okay. If you want to do it,
Kill
that's
them.
great. But like forcing yourself, you don't have to. But
You need to kill 10 to get one good. That's how it works.
yeah.
But no, I've got a really neat floor plan for that the whole cave to kind of really complement this whole idea of presenting and advertising and having places where you can break off and have your own conversations.
Yeah. No,
And so-
I mean, I think it would be great to have, so like have conversations like this, have conversations like, I don't know, at the party yesterday, it felt like, 7 hours of nerd.
ERP definitely.
But yeah, that would be great.
You're stretching it there. I'm quite sure
Yeah.
there was 2 hours of pizza fucking.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Listen, man, you gotta stuff the crust. I'm telling you.
Exactly. Stuff is really good.
Did you read the one I posted in non-context then?
What did I miss?
No,
Yep.
I haven't seen that
Nothing?
one yet.
Honestly, that's
Talking
probably the
about
best
stuff.
answer.
Okay.
Is the dough. That's probably the best answer.
Oh
Yeah. I blanked out the names because of like how the content is, but the person is he knows who it is.
Oh yeah, I love how you directly put my name attached to it. So I'm like, someone might think that I'm one of these black names, but that's cool.
Yeah, you blacklisted it for sure.
Oh, yeah.
However,
I don't
the
fucking
clips
care.
you got, I think you're already attached to it.
Oh, I don't care. No one knows the friend though. I showed that to him, and he just started busting out laughing. I'm like, see, you're now normal. Look at all these weirdos.
So, if we're all happy here, I am going to log off now and go make food.
Yeah, have the good.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
Alright.
Oh, very nice.
Oh wait, I want. Can you turn yours off? Because I want to do this when I get a chance for. Thanks, guys.
Wow.
Hey, Truth, can you build in a ledge that I can jump off of?
And yourself. Exactly.
I see a really good one right over there.
Just do a backflip and disappear. There's no jumping off. I might turn this into Kami's look. Well, no, that doesn't make any sense at all. It's not wrong world.
Wrong one. Make a new one. Is to start. Is to clap.
Alright, guys. Awesome
Yeah.
time. Awesome time.
See ya. Wait,
Oh,
Phase.
Can I follow someone who knows triggers?
Can you?
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
want to make a new. I want to make a new.
We have an encore.
Oh,
We have an encore.
instance. Can you help me with like 1 minute just to check triggers to see if it works
Encore?
with 2 people?
Yeah, after, well,
Get your head something.
Oh,
I have
okay.
something.
Okay.
I have something. I have
Okay.
good world as well.
Yeah.
Alright,
Please stand
Yeah,
on
after.
one.
yeah, we
Okay,
do
so
that.
after.
We do that after this.
Oh, I have a little bottle thing.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, the ball thing is cool.
Let's fucking do it.
Do it, Sketch.
Is it okay?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. You're asking a whole bunch of like world creators that love to like see worlds. Is it okay to go see your world? Yes.
I hate
Wow.
seeing
I hate seeing Sketch's world.
All right. Let's
Indies.
go. Oh, I love sketchy stuff.
Oh, I remember this.
So this one. Oh, or where are we going? Upstairs? Going upstairs?
I'm bringing it outside.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah. It's all in the box. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah. Should you tell so they don't do the mistake first?
Oh no, just keep holding on to it. Get everyone in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so
Yeah,
we all
I'll
click
do that.
the bubble. Right?
I'm a
Click
bit
the top
short.
thing.
Woohoo!
Oh,
that's
nice.
Ooh, ooh!
Oh, that's cool.
Is this a JoJo reference?
I think of this like as
Sure,
I Dream of Jeannie. I like this. Oh, it's different now.
I fell out of the map.
Yeah, this is the thing I make. Also,
When?
tried the bake lighting. Hell yeah.
Yeah, that worked out
my
well.
God,
I
it's
see.
pretty scary.
I see Bacon Lightning worked out fine.
Lol.
You should.
Oh, lol. I love
Perfectly
the
fine in Unity. So sad.
I love the grass here, Sketchy. I love it. Wow.
So what's happening with this?
What if you
Oh
have
no.
real-time lighting
But if you
here,
drink
and
it,
the
you
light
become a
source
frog.
was dependent
Ah!
on the orientation
It's
of
a
the
frog
ball
potion!
Out in the real world.
Oh my God, I love that. Yeah, I wanted to show you this potion thing. It's like, you know, it do the little frog thing. It looks like a frog. I'm planning on making like a bunch of my avatars that I was gonna put in the world or whatever as these instead.
Oh, this is brilliant. So
Oh.
you drink the potion to become the thing. What a great interaction.
Wow.
There's some things I'm not sure about. Like, I wanna probably have some way of putting them back, like on the shelf or whatever. But I don't know what's like the most optimized way of
They
doing
can
that, because I could have
resetting them?
potentially like 50 bottles or something.
What did
So
I do?
I'm just like, ooh.
It's up there.
So
Yeah,
just
put it back.
So yeah, so like this is
it
a
feels
basic
new for it.
object resetting issue is what you're trying to do. So like after a certain amount of time or all at once, or like what is your use case?
I'm not too sure. I guess I'm just asking for guidance and such with that context of, you know, there being potentially up to like 50 potions that people can use.
Couldn't you
Should there be
enable
like
a collider that reaps them all and then they like respawn? Shouldn't that work?
Reap? No. You wouldn't want to reap.
No, it's
Or
better
on
to
the
like, you know, if you have a set amount of objects, it's better to
Oh yeah. Reset them, I mean.
yeah, reset them rather than to spawn because of various trigger issues.
Yeah.
So
Probably the
there it
easiest
goes.
way is
Oh, there it goes.
if
So
you
I don't know if you saw that right then. What I'm doing right now is I've got the timer on it that just disables the collision, and then it falls down and resets back into its original position.
Yep.
So I don't know.
So
And that only
Oh,
happens
really?
as soon as
Well-
it's dropped by someone. Like, it doesn't happen while you're constantly holding it or it's moving from its positions.
Yeah.
The moment the person drops
Yeah.
it and probably neglects it, it's probably gonna reset or whatever.
So that's a really easy
I don't
way
know,
of doing it.
that's,
As long as
yeah.
you're on timer, you're aware of the issues with on timer. So here's
Yeah,
like
I'm not
this is
aware
one
of
thing
that.
I was
Yeah.
going after TCL yesterday because I'm like, people who are new to the SDK, they want on timer to work and they want teleport 2 to work because these are how people reset their pickups, which is a very basic thing people want to
Yeah.
do. So right now on timer reset on enable actually is reset on disable. So then as soon as you turn the object back on again, it will immediately fire. So for this, it might work, but you may be like, why is the timer not working? Well, it's because on timer is kind of broken in that way. So
Yeah, I'm not sure if I should be using on timer or if I should make it like an animation thing instead. Or
yeah, making
yeah,
an animator would probably
imagine
be the
there's
easiest.
different ways.
yeah, I mean, there's
So it's like
having
when
an
you
animator
release
is a little
it,
bit
it
of
starts an
performance,
animation or something.
but yeah, an animation will do it. So if it is an object that you want to fall through the floor and respawn, turning off the collider, like that works fine. The game is pretty good at resetting stuff. Don't use teleport 2. If you want to do something other than let it fall, then you can like do something like enable autocam for a very short period of time, which basically does the teleport 2, but without the issues that teleport 2 has.
Having like a collider or something that it hits work.
Yep.
I don't know.
It would.
Yeah, and
So
so
it's
I know
like-
that like
Check that.
resetting a lot of stuff at once will cause lag. And we have the issue with the pickups that like go to not a number will break the instance and cause the like thing where you like always have an interact on your hands. So there's some VRChat bugs which are just annoying to get around. What you're doing, honestly, like I don't think it works. Like
works.
it just kind of
It's
like
fine.
yeah, it just will kind of like fall through the floor and it resets itself. The only thing you just if you're worried about the on timer not working, you can make that an animation. So what might happen right now is probably if it's reset on enable, I'm not sure how your on timer is happening. It might be no, it doesn't look like it looks like it's
like after like a couple seconds it disables the collider and then re-enables it like 5 seconds later before it respawns.
I mean, it works pretty well. Like what I would do, I would disable the mesh render and do like a poof particle, so it like disappears in more like fancy effect than just going through the floor. You could do like make it fade out, or like you can do some cool animations with that.
Another way I was thinking was maybe each like place that a person sits has a small like box collider, and when a person lets go of the object that like hits a trigger on the ground or something, it enables a follow script on it, so it follows whatever its position is, like its spawn position, back to where it is. When it hits the collider back at its spawn area or something, it disables the follow again. Something weird like that, I don't know. So it's just colliders. Just means I have to tediously like set up each one, but
the same thing that follow does. But the problem with follow is it won't keep the rotation. AutoCam is follow target, but it keeps the rotation.
And that's
okay.
Yeah, and so we can show you a screenshot of how to set that up. There's like it has a bunch of options, and then you just like put in, I think, like something like 10,000 in the first 3 and 0 in the last 3. Was that right, Faze?
Yeah, the last 3 you don't want because that's for like camera work
and
stuff.
then it works just
so
like follow target, except
then,
it keeps the rotations.
Yeah, I can show you that later when you want to go with that trigger stuff as well.
Yeah.
Yo,
but I think it's just like what effect that you want. So right now, if you want to have them all happen at once, I think there's probably more efficient ways to do it that don't cause a lag, other than like teleporting everything at once. But if everything is in a different spot and they all fall, they're not going to be all trying to reset at the same frame anyway. So that it actually like what you have right now. Like my question to you is like, what's wrong with it? If it works, what don't you like about it?
I guess
honestly,
I don't know. I was just unsure, and with it being a timer thing, I know it's a bit like weird, and I don't know how to use the timer trigger at all. So
yeah,
I use the timer trigger a lot for my map, but they work pretty well for me.
Best way to do it back in 5.3. It wasn't until like midway through 5.6 that people were like, "Oh, animations are better for respawning things."
Ooh.
Like I remember the last map in 5.3 was a McDonald's world, and there were like physics objects everywhere, and then you just hit a button and everything would just fall through the floor.
So in general, you want your pickups to be self-contained.
Yeah.
And so like all the things that respawn it would be within the pickup, and that's mostly because that makes the trigger references easy to prefab and easy to copy. But and so this one looks like it is, and like and it's kind of like depends on what effect you want. What you're doing, if it works,
the moment has passed.
It works. It's good.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I guess if I have any problems when I reach the 50 potion mark, I'll come back and ask.
Yeah.
Oh, this is. Oh.
Did you drink the potion?
I did, but is the potion like floating way out for you guys?
It is.
Yeah.
Like you have a
for
long
some
interaction.
pickups, and I'm not sure.
There is a bug right now.
No, it's not just in.
I don't know why it's so far away from you, but there's a bug with interact distance. When it's inside another trigger, you can basically get it infinitely away.
Oh, okay.
So I want to know, Sketchy, I want to know about your liquid shader. Is this an asset that you purchased? Because it works really well. And can we know what it was?
There's I can link it later. It's do you know Minions Art on Twitter? They post like a bunch of game dev stuff, and they share some shaders as well that they've made.
Wow.
And that water one is one of them.
Yes,
I think that made the water thing like way better because they have a script that makes it jiggle, but we can't put scripts in. It's just really cool, like what they made.
But like the liquid level shader is something that a lot of people ask for, and that one looks
like
really
$5.
nice.
Yeah.
And well, exactly. It's like people are willing
like
to pay for it.
A place I could like link them, because I'd love to link their
Yeah,
stuff.
if it's a paid asset, you can put it in best assets. If it's free, then put it in the database. But if it's paid,
they post it for free.
oh, if it's for free, yeah, then we can put it in the database in the shader section. People would love it.
Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll link like that specifically and just at Twitter in general at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
Good stuff.
They've got like other things too, like with cloud shaders and
I like
snow
clouds.
things and all that.
Yeah. I mean, pretty much all these effects, they all get spread by word of mouth, and someone sees it in one world and is like, oh, how'd you do that? What is that asset? Because if you go to the asset store, you can spend literally $1,000 on stuff, none of which will work in VRChat, and there's no way to find out until someone purchases it and tries it.
Yeah.
You know? So, like, having people be like, hey, here's this thing, works in this world. What asset is that? I will go pay money because I saw it work somewhere else. Or, like, even better if
Or
it's
like,
free.
or you ask, gimme, and then they send you the asset. Perfect. Wow.
Yeah. Yep. Well,
Or the pre-shop.
that's what the database is for. So that it doesn't have to be like one to one to one. People can be like, "Oh, I saw this cool thing. Like, I saw this the drinks in the pug. How do I do that?" And everyone's like, "Yeah, we hear that there's stuff out there." Oh, just be like, right there. Go look at the shader.
Click it, get it. It's finished. Wow.
Also, if you like have time or whatever, you can see like I tried baking this room and stuff. Didn't really turn out.
Yeah.
I'm new to baking light stuff.
Your lights are still
Does
real
anyone
time.
know what I do?
You have to set your lights specifically to what if they're baked or not. It looks like
Baked,
you
yeah.
have a real time directional.
Yeah. The shadows are still here.
Oh, I have it as mixed.
Oh, I forget what mix does. Yeah, try setting it to baked and see if that works for you.
I used to use baked and light probes. That's a lot more optimized.
You don't
and
get
better, I
shadows
think.
then. I think mix is what gives you
Yeah,
shadows,
but
right?
still.
Mixed will give you shadows, yeah, but like some things are baked, some things are real time.
Yeah, so for example, it looks like all of your like wiggling stuff right there isn't static, and so it is doing real-time shadows. If you had things that were set to static, then they should have all they're not being like affected by the real-time light. So that's what mix does. So right now, it's what's costly in terms of performance is the avatars and the shadows and stuff like that. These are nice shadows.
Yeah.
They're probably taken a few frames.
Yeah. Pretty sharp though. Wow. A lot less blurry than.
Try just making everything baked or something.
Yeah, you just like see how it looks and how the performance is, and make it look right, and then optimize it. So like if it looks right and it still performs, then you're done. If it looks right and you're getting 30 frames, well, now you're gonna have to start making compromises.
Yeah, exactly. It's also so some things that might not work because like some of your animated things like these buttons, of course, like you might have to like consider what things are gonna move because you can't make them static if they're gonna like, actually animate and stuff.
Oh yeah, I don't like most of this area is static except for the mirror.
Yeah.
And like items and costs because I need to move those.
Yeah.
So do you is this terrain details or is this a shader on meshes that you placed?
Oh yeah, this is Unity terrain.
Okay. So that's not gonna bake. The grass won't bake because it can't.
Yeah.
Oh no.
So just be aware of that. If you go to bake it and you're like, how come my grass is all black in game? Well, that's why you can't bake the grass. You just can't do it.
Oh, another
doesn't
thing
work.
I'm thinking of. Well, people here. You know the little camera system I have in the main room over there? I guess, does anyone know if there's, like, other ways to achieve that, or is that pretty much the best way I can do it at the moment?
Well, there is something that JetDog did, but I'm not sure if he's made a prefab of it. I don't know, or if he did, it was a prefab. I'm not.
He did, but I don't know how that works.
By best, do you mean better visuals or better performing? Like, what are you looking to?
No,
to
more like
Yes.
it looks like it's
Performing,
3D.
yes.
It's
I guess performing wise is what I'm after, honestly.
Oh, really?
I don't think Jet Dogs is going to be better in that case.
No, definitely not.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's what I was interested in knowing about.
How
The
about
3D cameras shouldn't be that bad, but
Phase? Would a real-time reflection probe be better?
Oh, I was thinking
That's not
about
a bad
that
idea,
too,
but I
like
don't know
getting a
anything about
low-res reflection probe that was real time. But I don't know what kind of shader thing I would be able to apply that to.
Yeah, and I mean, given like what is
Yeah.
happening, I'm not sure that a camera render texture is less or more than a real-time. I would think a real-time reflection would be more.
'Cause it would be really cool to like get rid of these like starry night windows and replace it with a full-on like reflection probe surround view or whatever.
So that that's what
Yeah.
so Zavarian
That
did
sounds
that in
pretty crazy
his
cool.
cave world. Did you visit the cave? The like what was like something passageway, forgotten passageway?
yeah.
I might not
Yeah,
have
I don't know, you can just
been
look up
to
Forgotten
it.
Yeah, it's public. So
It's,
go
uh,
visit Zavarian with an X.
Yeah, Forgotten Passway.
Yeah, Forgotten Passway. He has this in a few places in there. So he has like you walk up to what looks like a vast cavern. It's actually a flat image with a reflection probe texture, and then you can kind of peer out this crack, and it looks like a big world out there, when in fact that's just also a reflection probe. So you can see what he did there, and like that's pretty simple. But you wouldn't see the like players that are looking into the bucket, which I think is the most charming part about what you're doing.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I might just
I like how it looks,
stick with
though,
the
for
camera
now, but-
system for now, because it gets the like most of the optical illusions just how I've got like a curved mesh thing.
Yeah.
And it's really neat. The
It
depth
looks
of
pretty
that.
good, yeah.
But
That's
like as
definitely
far
better
as your
than just a
windows,
black
if you want the windows to like be showing what looks like a world outside, then yeah, you can check out what he did in there, and if that's the effect that you're going
Yeah.
for. I was really
Yeah.
impressed by that. It's like, oh, this is like a neat thing for exactly that, like windows and peeking out into areas, because it gets weird if you can see too much of it, but if you manage it right. It can be
Yeah,
cool.
well, one thing is though, I mean, Jet Dog's system might not be that bad on performance, because the main thing is that render textures are expensive, not because of the camera, but because of the texture. So Jet Dog's system doesn't use render textures, it renders straight to your headset. So the camera itself is not that expensive.
Oh, interesting.
But it is still pretty expensive, but it's much less expensive than a render texture. So this is definitely something worth exploring. However, I'm not sure. You might be able to use stereo separation to make it so the world looks bigger. Or
Shader magic.
No.
So the answer for
I haven't
you is
messed with
like,
this pre-prep, but
there's stuff out there that does what you're trying to do, but like it's pretty advanced stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Too much effort.
Yeah, I'm not a very advanced technical person.
I mean, I'm not either. So like, I would have no idea how to even go about implementing Jet Dog system unless
That's
it's
good.
been
You're very advanced. Look at that
into a
tongue,
nice
though.
little prefab. I have no idea how you'd do that.
yeah, I was actually planning on
Look at the
talking
advanced system.
to Jet Dog right after this because he was working on something interesting. So I will ask him then. But yeah.
Oh, we need a bunch of Jet Dog TED Talks.
Yes, I just need to give us his brains. We can borrow
And
it.
this isn't really me asking for any feedback or anything, but I'm
I
looking
agree.
to decorate this world. If you have any suggestions or want anything like cool in here, feel free to
Make a
toss
full
me some suggestions or
apartment
whatever.
complex.
I'm open ears.
So
And if people want
Full-
bean bags and stuff like that, lots of bean bags.
When we were hanging out in here before,
More
though,
mirrors.
because oh yeah, it is cool. It is so
Give me
cool.
more mirrors. Every single wall should be a mirror.
And I've I guess I'm kind of making it like a weird. It's oddly larger and has strange architecture on the inside compared to the outside sort of thing. Because there's extra rooms now. Bucket TARDIS.
Wow. I just imagine Doctor Who now, where he's just got like a little tin bucket that he asks people to
Doctor
kind
Who,
of like
but
fit
he's got a whole bunch of little frog assistants.
Exactly. Wow.
Yeah.
This would go well with Burning Man architecture. I don't know if you know like their design type of thing, what they do, but like just the way, just modeling.
Yeah.
The inside.
So yeah, that's about it, really.
The Melfine plant.
Yeah, it's cool. I'm
Yeah,
glad I
that's
could
cool.
show
Oh,
you
you hat version? Wow. Yeah,
thingle. The bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't sure, so I thought.
Yeah, I wanna give this a
might
try.
as well ask.
I wanna drink it. Look at this. I like this.
I added like different texture and stuff. There's like symbols and stuff. It's just like a made up like symbol change thing to English alphabet. So it actually says something on the back. It says something like keep away from children. If they turn into frogs, it's not my problem, or whatever. You know, if they get snatched by
So sketchy, man. You just subdivide that shit 4 times more.
Alright, guys,
than
bottoms
I'm
up.
happy.
That's one.
Wow.
Oh, and the bottle
Now
is big
you're
now. I am in love with the potion idea. So, you know, we have avatar pedestals. Oh gosh, like nobody wants avatar pedestals anymore.
Yeah.
Like let's do new stuff.
I'm
So
always thinking like, what would be a neat way to show the avatars instead of avatar pedestals, and it's like avatar tonics.
Yeah. I'm definitely
I've been
stealing
playing
Sketchy's
maybe a bit
ideas.
too much Guild Wars 2
I'm doing-
because there's a whole
yeah,
bunch of tonics in that where you can turn into different creatures and they're shaped like the creatures.
Yes.
So you can be this weird sea creature thing that's like, I'm a quaggan.
Oh, there's a tongue.
It's a weird frog thing.
I'm gonna be doing the same thing.
And then you can transform into it, and it's great.
Oh my god, wait, that's what I was
I'm planning
doing.
to have the masks be like my mask, my
It's
avatar
only for VR. Yeah, only for VR.
Yeah, it's
Yeah, it's a
rock
combined
hand
gesture.
and then thumbs up. I
She
think.
has combo
Mine,
gestures.
This one, the Dapper outfit,
Yeah.
doesn't have it because excellency.
Mhm.
Yes.
Oh, there it is.
Twerking frog.
Exactly.
Oh my god.
You gotta get that twerk, you know. Wow.
I remember.
Yeah, like me. Yeah, twerking.
Yeah,
Twerk,
tongue. I'm
twerk,
Yoshi. Wow.
We need the sound though.
Oh god. I like it done.
Oh, I
Anyways,
put on the
I
wrong
should
one. I didn't put on
probably-
Respawn Girl. Oh well.
I should probably go and get brekkie. It's like 8 a.m. almost.
Get the
Oh god, it's
brekkie,
8:30. I've lost track of time.
Alright.
Let's get
Yeah, hit me
Awesome.
up on Discord when you're ready. When you want to work on
It's
this stuff.
time anyway. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably like a couple hours from now, because I gotta like
Cool.
do doctor appointments or something.
Mhm.
And then
Don't
maybe
die.
my family will drag me somewhere.
Mhm.
Yeah, I
That
got
sounds
all
Maybe.
painful. They use ropes or...
Bro? What?
I'm sorry, that was a terrible...
We have another vote for Jet
Wow.
Dog TED Talks. Jet Dog Jet Talks.
Even more. Even more Yeto.
Yep.
Jet dog TED
No,
Talks.
honestly,
It
like
feels like a tongue twister. A really big tongue twister. Jet dog TED Talks.
no, I think this is actually like
it's
the
not
more
really.
I think about this, the more excited I
Wow.
am, because one of the things I've been meaning to do is like, you know, make some videos explaining some of the prefabs I've made, because like I make the prefabs and sometimes I make an example world, but it'd be so much easier to have a video where it's like, okay, and then this is kind of how they work. And I want to hear that from other people as well, because like we will sometimes see they'll post something on the
I mean, it's a lot of effort to cut together a video. That's why people don't do it very often. But yeah.
Yeah.
So something I'm actually working on for Gunter's Universe, and that I can probably just implement into this new world, is actually editor script that does a direct conversion of a PowerPoint presentation into like a usable, like clickable VRChat slideshow.
Ooh. So we can take screenshots of like setup stuff and like talk about it, because like that's the main issue with all of this world dev stuff.
Would it just be like TED Talk things?
Yeah.
Or would it also be like presenting ideas and stuff?
It'll also be that. It'll be the way I kind of want to run it in the end. Hopefully, is kind of like Endgame, where in the beginning you have like the 20-minute community spotlight person that just comes up and gives their input on the topic, and then you move on to the actual meat of everything.
Yeah, but I mean, like, if the more I think about it, it's like, okay, if there was like a call for topics, oh, all right, I got a long list already, ready to go.
Yeah,
we can build a special presentation arena for it, and then
No, but that, I mean,
arena.
No, that I would love to see this, because we were saying, this is very hard to debug and like show in Unity what you're talking about, and people then have to like write down something cryptic and then go look at it later. If you have just like screenshots, here's this Unity screen, this object is gonna do this. Oh yeah, like that'd be awesome.
Yeah. All right.
Big nice.
I'm really hungry. So
Sorry for keeping you. I'm also hungry now.
It's fine.
We hungered together.
Wow.
Alright, guys.
Cook food and then Holly back in here.
Alright.
Oh, Fiona. Have you seen my two-headed Cyclops?
No. Let's see.
I mean a two-headed Cyclops.
do
My
the
right eye's
sign
in the
work.
right head and my left eye's in the left head, and I can move the heads independently.
Oh really?
Yeah. Go. Let's see.
I don't know how it's gonna work on desktop. I think I'm only gonna see out of the left head.
You come up with the most like bizarre avatar concepts.
Oh jeez, which head am I looking?
Okay, here. Which?
I can't tell.
This one?
No.
This one?
No, there you go. Yeah, that's yeah.
Yeah, there you go. So that is your right eye.
Cool.
Wait, look at me. When you talk, do they both talk?
They do. Yeah, I want to try and figure out a way to make only one talk at a time.
Oh, so like one talk. Oh.
Yeah.
That. I don't know how you do that.
But I updated my whole limb locking system, and so I got it working on the heads. But obviously, I can't really do it because I'm on desktop. But yeah, I'm gonna be on VR later. But it's really fun. It's really weird. It's very weird.
Do you have like a really wide IPD then with these?
I do, yes. And it's funny because when I tilt both heads outwards, everything gets smaller. And it's like the more I tilt my heads inwards, everything gets bigger again.
Yeah. Oh man. That I can't even imagine. Like you could have like an alien. Okay. I remember there was this like science fiction story that I read, and it was a long time ago, so I don't remember, but they were talking about how there was an alien that had like, the eye antennas. And one of the things that the book was talking about that the alien would do is sometimes like when it was thinking, it would look at itself. That was like sort of a gesture of just like, inward introspection. When it wanted to see something far away, it would go like this to triangulate better and get better stereoscope vision. And I was just like, that's really fascinating. You can literally do that, and you can literally experience this. Like, you can look at yourself, or you could like, oh man, that's a cool idea.
Oh, something I really want to do, and I might do it tonight or tomorrow just because it'd be really quick now. I want to make an avatar where the eyes are on the hands, like Pan's Labyrinth.
Oh god.
Let us know how that goes.
Yeah, it'll be. So...
wait. I need to get a better view of you.
Place.
Oh gosh. All right.
I'm just imagining like somebody makes like a sound or something down a hallway, and instead of like turning towards it, I just face my hand at it.
Talk to the hand. Look at the hand.
Yeah.
Oh man.
So you can look forward and backwards at the same time then.
Yeah.
But here's your brain isn't built to comprehend that, but there is no reason why it couldn't.
Oh, it was really weird at first, but you like get strangely used to it, and you start being able to parse what's kind of going on.
Yeah, you know, your brain's vision processing is remarkably plastic, so you have to do it for a long enough time, and you will get used to stuff like that, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Like they've done those experiments with the upside down glasses. Like if you wear glasses.
I just heard about that the other day. That was crazy.
I know. Anyway, okay, go eat. Go eat.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah.
All right. See you guys later. And thus ends the Cyanet stream.